Welcome, everybody. We got some Tuesday Night Legacy for you guys. We even already have some people in chat, ready to go. Way to be, Wickleback. We're just getting some of our things ready to go here. The transition from the Magic Online to live here. So here, jumping right in, we've got Terry. He's playing. I think he's playing like a Sultai build, and Stormy looks to be on some miracles. We get to see her whole hand filled with a couple mentors and a couple swords to plowshares and a ponder. Kind of an interesting keep for miracles. A little bit different type of game to start off with. See how that ponder works out. I believe so.
Delver?
Yes.
Probably?
Yep. And Stormy on miracles. Blue-white with a splash of red. This is the FTV, the new Delver, that Terry just played. It's really awkward because the from the vault foiling process makes it really hard to read what that card is. But that's what that is. It's just a Delver.
Just a moment. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
We're close. We're close. That's right. Nobody's even watching it anyway. That Delver is going to die. He's going to go be a... Oh, he's not going to die. He's going to get... The Swords is getting dazed. Delver is going to live. So, Sultai Delver often, once you get a Delver out, this is what you want to do. You want to keep your one threat alive. You just get one thing on the board and then protect it. You protect the queen as it is, right? Whereas like the blue-red Delver that Kyra's been playing online, or I've been playing a little bit in paper, it's a little different. You kind of don't care if your one threat gets killed because there's always another threat. And here's a wasteland from Terry onto the Caracas. So we know that Stormy has another swords. This time we're going to play around
Wasteland number 2.
Days, and instead we're going to be eating a wasteland. That's pretty brutal. When Delver lands a Delver and can go days, wasteland, wasteland, that's usually game over.
In a lot of cases.
Yeah, that's like the perfect start for a Delver deck, regardless of what if you're on Jeskai or Sultai or Grixis or whatever you're doing. Here's a basic plains off the top for Stormy. And here's a swords, trying to get rid of the Delver, force battle over the swords, and finally the one Delver dies.
And Delver's gone.
Yeah, so we've got 14 to 17. That clear dice that Terry likes to move around.
17.
It's kind of hanging out by his pen there. That's his life total, just to make things more difficult.
Yep. Instead
of keeping the life, right at the top where everybody can see it.
No other reason.
No, yeah. Let's turn off that.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
You're good. You're on it. Is that round timer accurate? Is it 41 minutes, right?
Yeah. It's been 9 minutes.
Okay.
We spent like the first 5 minutes shuffling.
Yeah. So, even though Stormy spent a bunch of cards to get there, and Caracas is still in hand, right? No, Caracas got Wasteland. Yeah. So there needs to be some more cards found.
Double Search for Azcanta, double Monastery Mentor. Yeah. This is not so great when there's only one land on Stormy's side. I think now that Terry has found his second threat.
Yep.
Yeah, he's just gonna back it up. Alright. Terry takes game 1. Nice and easy.
What's on our backup match?
No. Alright, let's take a look. We've got Jeff, and Jeff is playing Dredge.
Cool! We're going to see some dredging versus some Eldrazi-ing. Everybody likes that. Who plays Eldrazi? Sounds like something you would do.
Which is kind of weird. I'm not usually a fan. I played it today.
Right. That's why I said that.
The deck is like easy to play. I think as far as like playing the deck, it's not a fun deck to play, but it is easy.
Some people like that type of Magic, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get to play these big things and ramp them out because I have soul lands, and that's what I do. It's nothing against Ryan.
No, not at all. It's just a simpler strategy. Like there's not a lot of, you know. First off, you're not playing blue, so you don't have all the thought processes. Right. Like, okay, what do I need to be putting back with Brainstorm, or what do I need to be putting back with this and that. What do I counter? Yeah. You're not reacting to your opponent. Deck. It's a stompy deck. Yeah. So you're just going to play your soul lands. You're going to play, these extremely, extremely effective creatures very quickly, that also interact with your hand or that are harder to kill or, they're just very powerful.
So we're kind of jumping right into the middle of some dredging here. So this is probably his draw step, and it's not hard to follow what a dredge player is doing unless you jump right into the middle of a match. It can be a little awkward to figure out where we are.
It's also hard to understand or follow what dredge is doing if you don't know how dredge works.
Right.
So this dredge deck, its goal is to use the mechanic of dredge to put a lot of cards in your graveyard.
Right. Specifically, a Bridge from Below and Prized Amalgam and Narcomoeba.
Yep. And so you can use Lion's Eye Diamond and Breakthrough. These 10 and like this Putrid Imp to discard cards. Once you've discarded a card with Dredge, then you just need to draw a card. Once you've drawn a card, then you get to really, really get some stuff into your graveyard and go from there. So you're going to use a lot of cards that are easy to bring back from the graveyard or have flashback costs like Cabal Therapy, where you can cast it from your graveyard with no mana cost.
Right. Why didn't the Narcomoebas come to... Oh, are we still dredging? Is that why?
I think so.
Okay.
So this large pile in front of Jeff, that's his graveyard.
Right.
That's his graveyard. And then the two lands that are above this large pile are the lands that he has in play, and of course the creature in front of that's in play.
So now he wants to use a Cabal Therapy he's going to sacrifice an Narcomoeba, and depending on how many bridges he has in his graveyard, it looks like 2. He gets to make zombies.
Yeah, whenever a creature dies that is under your control, or a non-token creature dies that's under your control, you get 2/2 zombies. We do have some zombies out there on the table, so hopefully he can... Yep, so... And then he's casting Cabal Therapy from the graveyard. He's going to name a card. Oh, he names Reality Smasher and gets 2. 2 Reality Smashers, jeez.
So it's pretty brutal. Not only does he get a bunch of 2/2s, but he also gets to pick apart Ryan's hand.
Right.
This is where you normally scoop if we're playing on Magic Online.
Yeah, Cabal Therapy number 2. He's going to sack his other Narcomoeba. He's going to name Matter Reshaper, and now Ryan's just left with an Endless One in hand. So 4 zombies on Jeff's side plus the Putrid Imp, and we're about to see. Oh my goodness, he's going to sack the Putrid Imp? Yeah.
He's going to get rid of all of the things in... I like how Ryan's helping him out here.
He's like, there are this many now.
Yeah.
So, we'll sack Putrid Imp, get a bunch more zombies. He's going to take the last card in Ryan's hand, and then he's going to end the turn, and these Prized Amalgam should have come back.
Yep.
It looks like he missed those triggers.
It's kind of the other crucial part of Legacy Dredge, right?
Yeah. Narcomoeba is a card that when it hits the graveyard from your library that's when it triggers. So these Prized Amalgams should have come back into play tapped.
Yeah, it looks like he has one Icarid at least as well. That if this is upkeep, it's an upkeep trigger, I believe, on Icarid, and he's okay. Here it is. Yeah.
So he's gonna exile.
Looks like he was going for
Putrid Imp.
Golgari Grave Troll Dredge first, but. So yeah, you exile a creature from your graveyard, and you get to bring back the 3/1 haste.
Has to be a black creature.
Ah.
But it is a 3/1 haste, so he's going to get rid of a Golgari Grave Troll, and he does have Dread Return.
Yeah, it's true. Part of playing Tuesday Legacy is you get to play new decks or decks that you haven't played in a while and pick them up and just jam them. You don't necessarily have to practice as much. I don't know if Jeff plays Dredge religiously or not.
No, I think he borrowed this deck.
This is what I would be doing. I'd be fumbling my way a little bit through it. And it looks like he's playing it pretty tight, other than missing the prize to trigger.
Yeah, I think so. Big Red Joe, welcome in. Did you get a notification, Big Red Joe? I need to know.
I got one. So they went out.
I have been, but Big Red Joe says he's having a problem with it. That's a problem.
He needs to change his notifications then.
Definitely. Yeah, Moses, I know we need some new dice. We really want to get like an iPad out there. It's gonna happen. We'll get there.
Yep. So there's the Dread Return he's looking at. The other awkward thing about Legacy Dredge compared to Modern Dredge, as we're just kind of going through the differences here, is you have to keep your graveyard order intact.
Yes.
In Legacy, which you don't have to do in Modern. And so he's you can see him pulling out cards here from his graveyard, and he's got this massive pile, but it actually matters that they're in order. It doesn't really matter for any of the cards that are in his Legacy Dredge deck, but there are Legacy cards that care about graveyard order.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know, actually, if you change the order in a deck that doesn't care, what the ruling would be for a judge, if they would say, oh, that's an automatic game loss, or is it just a warning? I don't know how that works.
So here's an attack for 12. This is 6 zombies coming Ryan's way.
Chump block 1. Goes down to 6. Yeah, Ryan's like, and you should have gotten these. You forgot about these things. It's a warning unless you keep doing it. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and that'll pack things up. So we're gonna head back to our main feature match.
Whereas I could see it being harsher than a warning if you had cards that cared.
Looks like things are just getting started.
So we saw Terry last game 1 very quickly get out a Delver and Wasteland, Daze, Wasteland, and Stormy couldn't handle it. So here we are in game 2. It looks like we've had a little bit of back and forth. A Delver getting exiled to Swords, and a True Name Nemesis able to come down turn 3 here. Yeah, exactly. If you had a card that cared, like the Nether Spirit or like a Shallow Grave or something, then it would be viewed harsher.
Yeah, it's the manaless Dredge decks that care, right? Yeah. Not the breakthrough whatever decks.
Oh no, I play clans in front, lands in front, Terry. Yep, and I play with my clear life dice in an obscure, you can't find me location.
Yeah, it doesn't help that it is kind of a similar color to his mat, and it was already hard to see before that. But Terry is at 18. This is pretty rough from Stormy though. He's got 2 planes and like a counterbalance in hand. Can't cast it. Decided not to play Mentor there. I'm kind of confused on what they want to be doing. There's a Swords of Plowshares, but Swords of Plowshares doesn't do anything on this board.
Yeah, what is the hold?
You know, like I feel like I would have. You got to try to race your opponent back or something. The Flusterstorm and the Predict are the relevant cards in Stormy's hand at the moment, and something gives me a feeling that Terry can play around that Flusterstorm quite easily. Here's a Predict.
The prediction is not volcanic. Draw 1 card.
But he did find an island.
So I guess now counterbalance can come down, maybe too late?
I think you're going to play Mentor and Ponder.
Yeah.
I have no idea why you wouldn't play Mentor.
And Stormy doesn't know Terry's hand based off of what's been played already. Okay, Ponder first.
I think... Okay, so there is a Supreme Verdict. I imagine he's happy to see that, because this is going to be able to answer True Name Nemesis before things get a little too crazy. There is a search for Azcanta and also a Tundra.
So it's not game over.
No.
There's
And
an
in fact, Supreme Verdict's going to save him.
Yep. Might even get Terry to play something else here. Verdict not being super common card in Legacy Miracles. It's in some sideboards or in some main decks, but not all.
So Lightning Bolt is going upstairs. This is going to put Stormy to 12 or to 9. Updating life totals there.
Yeah. Yep. If looking for Terminus and Supreme Verdict first before going Mentor, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
That's probably correct. We just look at it as a not control player's perspective and go, why aren't you racing? You could be racing.
With the current hand, you could play Mentor and have the possibility to race and also be looking for a board wipe just in case.
Mm-hmm.
But either line is fine. I mean, obviously, there's a reward here for being patient and not playing the Mentor yet.
So Stormy isn't at 9, right?
Down to 6 or 3.
Yeah, down to 3, I believe. There's a verdict.
Here's a fetch.
Yeah, and exactly. Terry could easily have a backup threat, whether it's a Delver, or another True Name, or anything else that.
Yeah, Thomas, I wasn't saying it was like the best thing to do, but I don't know. It was looking grim, so I felt like play to your out, right? Clearly wrong, though. Here's a flip of Azcanta, and this is happening in the face of a wasteland. And he's at 3. What can even...
Yeah, you can lose. Yeah, there's no force in hand, just a Flusterstorm.
I think that would be a pretty fast force of will. Yeah, just lands and a swords on the top, and that should wrap things up here.
True Name, doing what it does. Attacking for 3. We found Azcanta for
a moment.
A short period of time.
A turn.
Oh. Sometimes you just don't want to scoop it up. Sometimes you want to feel your life going to 0. There it is. Stormy's life went to 0.
The late found it emotes.
He wants his money back after I tell him I can't send it out until 3 days from now. So my understanding is eBay and combined with PayPal now is heavily favored for the buyer. So they could ask for a refund probably anyway. If you haven't sent it out yet and he's asking to cancel the sell, then
you kind of have to.
Then at least you cancel the sell while you still have the card, and I think you're coming out ahead that way. You don't have to deal with it after you've sent the card, which is way worse. If you've already sent it, then that's a different thing.
So catching up with this Dredge versus Eldrazi Stompy, looks like we've already seen a Thought-Knot Seer, and that got rid of something, and then we saw a Fairy Macabre.
Maybe the Grave Troll.
Got rid of the Grave Troll, I think, and the Amalgam. Not 100% on that.
Fairy's a nice card against graveyard strategies. It's really good against Reanimator.
Yeah.
And it can work against Dredge. It looks like it hasn't really done what it was.
It's not bad against Dredge, but it interacts better against Dredge than most of the other cards in Ryan's deck.
Yeah.
So this is definitely a time where he's happy to see it.
Yep. When your Dredger is a imp instead of a Grave Troll, that helps, right? You play it for Leyline of the Void, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of decks that just can't interact with graveyards.
The stompy deck, the stompy decks that have Urborg in them tend to like to play Leylines in their sideboard, but if they don't have any Urborgs, then you'll see them move towards cards like Fairy Macabre or Tormod's Crypt.
And whereas a lot of other legacy decks, rely on Surgical Extraction.
Yeah,
because they're
Surgical does not hurt this deck.
No, not really. If you can hit a bridge just perfectly, that can work, but there often isn't enough.
Yeah.
Elvish, who are we cheering for? We're going and we're getting him, but I don't know which one. Who are we getting? There's no elves.
No, none. Okay. So there's a prize amalgam. Now this isn't going to do a lot. Not in the face of a Thought-Knot Seer. But no, I don't think there's a Dredger in the graveyard.
Did the imp get exiled somehow? Oh, it went to hand because it got dredged, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, he's rooting for us. Elvish is rooting for you and me.
It's quite the thing to be up against tonight. Perfect. I like it when we choose the casters. Ooh, there's some Warping Whale.
Icarid has 1 toughness.
Actual answer. It's an exile effect to Icarid.
Yeah.
How about that?
Warping Whale.
Ratchet Bomb is just going to hang out on 0 for a while to hopefully blow up all of the zombie tokens that Dredge can put out very quickly.
Yeah. And Thought-Knot Seer outclasses this prize.
Yeah, that's a good race. City gets tapped for 2 and gets blown up because that's what happens to traders. They die. Especially complete cities of them.
No, he's going to attack with Reality Smasher, but no attack with the Thought-Knot Seer. Oh, he is. Okay. Hold on.
I'm going to attack you for 5. And 4 more.
Hold on, I wasn't done.
Wait a minute. So you would have been at 7? 3 sounds better.
3 does sound better in his defense. Alright. And being at 3 when all of your lands deal you damage doesn't feel great, because he would love to be able to cast this imp and you know, like, first off it would be in the way, but
that's not a...
Game 2 is going to go to Ryan.
So we've got, this is a little break right here, right? Our other match already finished up. We've got 20 minutes left in this round. We're going to do 4 total rounds of Legacy for you guys tonight, like we do every Tuesday night. And we'll see a variety of different decks, I'm pretty sure, as well. We've got a bunch of different things going on tonight.
Yeah, we do.
Did Nate make it in here tonight?
Yeah, that's his dredge. This is his dredge deck.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure Nate is on something a little different, and
oh boy.
Yeah, we may have to get him on camera regardless of his record.
Sure.
And I didn't get a chance to see everybody else that's here tonight, but we got a pretty good crowd. We've got 16 players tonight.
Yeah.
which is we usually hover right around 20, 24, somewhere in that range.
It's been a little around the high teens lately. While they're shuffling up, I'm gonna grab a water. Would you like a drink?
Oh sure, grab me a do.
Good deal.
Because sugar.
Together.
Yeah. Well, you were playing Magic Online right up until the right. So we saw Delver take down Miracles on our other table, and now we get to see Dredge versus Eldrazi Stompy. Just the matchup that you guys were expecting, right? When you say, "Hey, it's Tuesday, I'm gonna watch some Legacy." Of course, Dredge and Stompy, Eldrazi Stompy. We played against this a couple times online recently. The Stompy decks that play Mimic, Eldrazi Mimic, which are very different than the Cloud Post versions that are trying to ramp out something really, really large. And it's kind of weird to see Mimic in Legacy, I think. It was really popular for a short while.
Yeah.
And then it kind of went away, and at least just with our matches online, we've seen quite a bit of
I think the like really, really high number of 4-color decks right now is kind of bringing the Eldrazi Stompy versions back, where like they're trying to be fast and trying to beat you down because they don't have a lot of cards that interact with your creatures well.
And you can just steal games because you have so many threats. They just keep coming.
All right, we get a game 3. Excellent.
So Jeff's going to be on the play, which is advantage Jeff. Pretty much any Legacy deck wants to go first, but these two decks particularly, they want to get out fast. It looks like Ryan's got a significant number of soul lands, so he's probably happy with what he's got.
There's a City of Brass.
Ooh, there's an early therapy.
And we're just gonna therapy.
What do you name? What do you name in the dark? He knows you brought in Fairy Macabres. Oh, he's Cabal therapying himself.
There you go. Naming Golgari Grave Troll.
It's hard to say.
Golgari Grave Troll.
If you mess up on saying it and you get tongue twisted, do you not get to discard it because you didn't name a real card? Is that how that works?
Golgari Grave Troll. Golgari Grave Troll. Yep. Here's an Ayavugan, and this is going to allow Mimic to come in for free. And we're going to see a Fairy Macabre totally wreck this plan.
Yeah, so this fairy this is what I was talking about. This is perfect timing fairy, right? When there's a bridge and 2 lands in hand for Dredge, sure, he can discard using the Lion's Eye Diamond to get rid of the bridge, or I guess he could just put it into play.
There's an Ancient Tomb and a Thought-Knot Seer. Now this Thought-Knot Seer is going to look pretty underwhelming, but it does get a bridge, and I am actually really surprised that we didn't see LED get cracked there.
Yeah. He doesn't need the 3 mana. He'd rather that bridge be in his graveyard than in exile.
Ian, yeah, that'd be awesome. My answer is yes.
You got people tuning into the stream just to ask you, why just Kyre? Why did only Kyre get invited?
Well, maybe you should be nicer to people, Bryce.
Huh. I see how you are, Ian. I see how you are.
I didn't picture Bryce as like the jealous, get jealous over something silly type.
Over something silly? No.
Yeah.
Over Black Panther 1050 on Thursday night? Man. All right.
Eldrazi takes this one away.
15 minutes left. I'm going to go peek and see who else we have going on. Round 1.
You want to get another matchup?
If there's somebody that's starting.
Sweet. That would be fantastic. Exactly. See, Bryce just doesn't understand. It's a roommate date night. Jeez. Unbelievable. You know, when you live with your family, it's called family time. But when you just living with a bunch of roommates, it's a roommate date night. I don't know where the date came from, but whatever. So interesting. Jeff actually chose to side out all of his street wraiths. This does. It's kind of surprising that those didn't come back in once he saw Fairy Macabre, because usually what Fairy Macabre is going to do is you're going to put your first dredger in there, and they're going to try to slow you down by hitting your dredger, making sure you can't do that. Well, if you have street wraith, then you can, like, you know, dredge in response, and then Fairy Macabre, like, doesn't have target, or, you know, like, it only hits like one thing, and it's just strictly worse. Do we get some people?
No, we're almost done.
Are we?
Looks like we have just one more game finishing up. One more match. Looks like everybody else is already done.
Cool. Well, I was just saying. So there you go.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's why I wasn't invited. I gotta get my wife to jump into chat and start inviting me to things that you don't get to be invited to. Hold on,
no,
let me
Kyer.
text her. Let me text
No, Kyer, you can't come. Are you my wife? No. No, but I actually was able to see that Jeff boarded out all of his street wraiths. Thought that was kind of interesting because he literally lost Fairy Macabre there. Could have kept him going. You want to talk about this week in Legacy?
We can.
Let's do it. Is this the recent one, or is this the one that we've talked about before?
Let's find out. So, this is where I've been going for some pretty good Legacy updates. This one's coming from... Whoa.
Oh, holy.
What just happened there?
I think you clicked on the wrong thing.
This is Goldfish, right? So this is the 9th. And we pulled a deck from it that we played, but we didn't actually talk about this because we were having issues, right?
Just some MTG, I guess.
So we'll just
switch this
do it this way. This is the bug control list that Kyer and I played. We played this yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, if you guys haven't checked out Goldfish, I'm sure if you guys play Legacy or have watched our stream before, this is a nice place to go, where they give you just kind of a recap of some of the bigger events that have happened in Legacy around the world. Some of them are from Japan. Other lists happen in Europe, where Legacy gets played on a more consistent basis. And they have this really nice visual view here, which is really great for us, where we can actually show you the deck in it instead of just showing deck lists. So this is a typical bug control list. I call it bug control instead of Sultai because back before there was such a thing as Sultai, Legacy players who played this type of a deck called it bug control, right? Usually you were playing some number of Hymn to Turoks, some number of Liliana of the Veils, and Deathrite Shamans, and Chase, right? It was a deck, and you weren't really attacking. This is a little different because you've got True Name Nemesis with Jete and Leovold, and then no Lilianas, just one of the Last Hope. But the spicy flavor here is this Ashiok, and we had it. We never actually. One time when I stepped out of the room, you got to actually cast it, and then it just died.
I plussed it,
Yeah.
and then it died on the swing.
Yeah. So, is Ashiok good enough in a deck like this? Sometimes, maybe.
It's a 3-mana walker. It can do work.
Yeah,
Depends.
Yeah, or maybe you'd rather that just be a Chase the Mind Sculptor. I don't know.
I heard Jace is all right.
Is it pretty good?
It's just what I heard.
I think it's not good enough for Legacy, really. It's more of like a modern.
You think it's a modern card?
Yeah. I think that's really what it is. So here's what else we got. There's another deck here. Oh, they're silly naming. Sorry, I'm scrolling so fast that I broke the browser.
Yeah, you did.
Here we go. Punishing Maverick.
They called it Punishing Maverick this time. Notice it's not Punishing Abzan anymore.
I guess it's getting better, right?
So because you're playing the whole punishing aspect of it. You don't have Valiant anymore. You want to be able to cast your punishing fire.
This deck won a fairly large tournament, and I'm kind of surprised.
Really,
it's an interesting deck, but it feels just sub tier 1, right? Like Grixis Delver right now is kind of the de facto tier 1 deck. I think Miracles is really close to that in being as powerful. It's maybe just a little underplayed. Whereas these decks that don't have access to the cards that those blue decks have access to always feel just a little bit handicapped. They can do it. They can pull it off. You get to Knight of Reliquary and you can sneak wins with Dark Depths, right? It's built in there. So you have kind of this neat little combo win package. So if you're trying to clock your opponents, you can do that. You have kind of a Green Sun Zenith toolbox package, where you can get Teague, which can shut off Miracles.
A lot of strategies.
Ooze, which can shut off graveyard strategies, and whatever other thing you need.
Gotta have that Scrib Ranger card's incredible with Knight of the Reliquary.
Gotta have it. So I mean I like these decks. I'm a little surprised that when they win. Right? This one's fascinating. I saw this list and went Fiery Justice in the sideboard.
Deal 5 damage divided as you choose, and then your opponent gains 5 life?
Gains 5 life, and it costs 1 of each, but it's a sorcery. I was a little surprised to see that one there.
Definitely not a bad card.
When it works, okay, great, but Zealous Persecution I think is usually just better.
Yeah. What's that weird new art one?
Double Choke. Choke is mean. So I don't remember. So this was this 6K in prizes. It doesn't actually say here how many players there were, but there was some pretty big names playing in this tournament. And Punishing Maverick took 1, Bug Control took 2.
Yeah.
And then we jump to events in Japan. Here's a Miracles list. This is what Josh has been on.
Yeah.
Recently he's been playing this list with Nahiri and Emrakul, of course. They kind of go together.
Yeah, I think Josh is playing a couple, but this one looks just to be playing 1 Nahiri. It's actually pretty good. We saw exile like a bunch of enchantments, surprisingly enough. Pretty cool.
I don't know why everything just froze. It's neat. Try that one more time. Normally I have this set up. I wasn't sure that we were going to have time for this. So this is a pretty typical Miracles list. We're seeing 2 Portents, 2 Counterbalance, 2 Predict. So a lot of those numbers have come down off of lists that were running 3 or 4 of those, depending, some combination of them. And then instead of Mentor's Main, you've got 2 in the sideboard. And then you've got 3 Jaces and 1 Nahiri, as opposed to like maybe a 2-2 split. 2 Search for Azcanta is pretty common, as far as I understand it now. And so then this one's playing Snapcaster Mage. Some are not so high on Snap. Your other potential win conditions, some of them play Gideon, Zendikar ally of Zendikar, as the way to go there, along with Mentor. And this is a really strong deck. I think Nahiri is going to surprise a lot of people. There's not a lot of people playing this build of Miracles. And yeah, getting to exile an enchantment or a tap creature.
Artifact.
Or just the clock by itself. It's a faster clock than, say, a Jace or a Gideon.
It's also hard to answer. Usually Miracles has a pretty easy time keeping creatures off the board. And if you can keep creatures off the board and protect your Nahiri, then it's going to be pretty easy to win from there. Not only that, but I want to say Josh was impressed with the ability to like discard his Emrakul to like it would go back to his hand. And then he'd like uptick Nahiri or whatever again, and like get rid of Emrakul and like shuffle things back into his deck. He was
times
really happy about
where sometimes like Ghost Quartered, he would have been Ghost Quartered off white, drew another fetch land, but not had any, and then being able to shuffle his library, he was able to fetch for a white source, and weird interactions that you wouldn't expect. Why Emrakul and Nahiri would be really strong. We go off of the visual view here. This is the more Ensnaring Bridge, Helm of Obedience type build, right? And this one's kind of fun. You've got the Energy Field Rest in Peace combo, along with Rest in Peace and Helm of Obedience combo. So this is more of a. This is a different type. They call it miracles because it still has terminus, but it feels much more like a control deck, right? Where you're locking opponents out.
A lot of these decks actually don't run terminus at all, and they don't call it miracles, which is funny.
Yeah.
They'll play a couple of supreme verdicts, and then they're playing the whole energy field, rest in peace combo, and I'm just surprised to see this called miracles as well.
And this one is got a Ruined Halo main. We saw this heavily in the last Pro Tour in Modern.
Yeah,
it became a big deal, and here it is showing up in Legacy, which is reflective of this nice high price tag that it keeps itching up to.
Yeah, it's probably going to get reprinted sooner or later.
How about this one? How about this one?
Twin.
There's a certain number of Magic players who just have this weird
obsession,
affinities, this like camaraderie with Splinter Twin. Here it is in Legacy. Okay. You get to Izzet Charm and Impulse. This is a way of getting to play Chalice of the Void. That's kind of the interesting thing that's happening with this deck. And I don't know, if you really, really like Twin, it's a viable clock and a viable strategy, I guess.
Yeah. I actually remember going to an event, and Brian was playing in it, and like every time I would get done with my round, I'd go over and check up on Brian, because he was playing in like a Legacy Classic or whatever, at an SCG event.
Yeah.
And like there was a guy that like was winning next to him constantly, and he was playing a Twin deck. It's like it is okay. Like yes, it's a little bit slower, but you have a lot of great cards.
Yeah, and you get to be a Blood Moon main deck slash Chandra deck. Those can just steal games. So it's a Blood Moon Chalice deck.
Yep.
But instead of locking out your opponents and trying to win with a big Chandra or something like that, you have this nice, neat combo in there. And because you're making a whole bunch of Deceiver Exarchs that have only one power, you can win through an Ensnaring Bridge, right? You draw your card.
Yep.
Have one card in hand, combo off, attack, win. While getting to lock out. So we've got players sitting down. We got to show you some actual paper here after our little 10-minute break there. Looks like we have Paul, he usually is on lands. Last week he wasn't. Last week he played a version of Steel Stompy. So we'll see what he's on. And inside this, it looks like he's maybe playing against. I don't know who he's playing against. Sometimes you can tell by looking down on people who they're playing against. Yeah, we didn't get our update. I think it switched who it is who's doing it. All right, let's see if we can tell by this shuffle. He's kind of exposing. Looks like a Ponder and a Baleful Strix, and some other blue cards. Some version of Grixis Sultai, Tassamag, or Fingler. It's definitely not, not Jeff.
Alright, so we've got Josh versus Terry and Corey versus Paul.
Corey playing 4-color?
Maybe. I don't even know what Paul's playing now that he's played another deck. He did it one time, and now I'm like, I don't know.
I'm gonna update the other match as well.
50-ish. Just gonna guess.
Yeah. $40, right?
Something like this.
That's a close approximation of our time in left and round here. And we'll have Terry, who was playing that Sultai deck, versus Josh, who
probably playing Miracles.
Maybe isn't actually. We'll see. She might be playing Dredge.
Here, I'll come show you.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Josh is on for our backup match. Oh, Josh is going to play Enchantress. Just what you expected. Just what you expected. So we're going to shuffle. We're going to show you guys shuffling. As these guys take some mulligans here. Chat, you guys are being awfully quiet tonight. I mean, it is round 2. Normally round 1 is nice and quiet. It's peaceful. Right around round 2, we usually get some people that are a little bit more animated. Did anybody get notifications that when we went live, or did that not happen for some reason? Maybe because we were just live a little while ago, it didn't go out. Man, we're going mulligan heavy. All right, well these guys mulligan away. I'm gonna transition you guys over to this other match. Here we're currently here on like what, turn 2-ish, turn 2 or 3 of Enchantress versus Terry. Not change that, please. Terry on that Sultai deck, Sultai Delver. Well, so I think what happened is Josh just decided he just threw a different deck out. He just said, hey, I'm going to play this. Little Ronky. Okay, well, you're forgiven. Grizzly Brand got a notification. Good.
What's going on? What?
I just asked why everybody was being so quiet in chat. Nobody was saying anything. Doing the homework. That's weird.
That is weird.
Looks like we got 2 flipped Delvers against some Enchantress. That's kind of strong.
I think Josh liked beating Enchantress against Ian last week so much that he had to play Enchantress himself.
Okay. Just
or on Friday or whatever.
Wanted to lose because he beat it so heavily?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's an Argothian Enchantress.
We have an Enchantress. But no presence. Just the actual Enchantress. She's not actually there.
No. So Delver isn't going to have a lot of good ways to get rid of Enchantress. However, we already see a huge clock presented by Terry. I mean, what is he at, 10? Yeah, he's at 10. Okay. Here's a Sarah Sanctum. This is going to tap for a lot of mana.
We got the Enchantress and the Enchantress's presence.
Yep. There's a draw. The 2 Mary's Guiles. Yep, and here's a pass. So Sarah Sanctum right now taps for 4 mana. Or sorry, 5. 5 mana.
5. That's not an Emrakul amount of mana.
Not yet. Not yet. He's going to get there.
You think so?
No.
You sounded so positive.
Josh is down to 4.
Josh has a turn.
Yep.
You get to draw 2 cards every time you play an enchantment.
Mm-hmm.
There's
a possibility. He needs to find an Elephant Grass. Probably plus something. If there's a lightning bolt in no. Wait a minute. That's a volcanic island. Wasn't he on Sultai?
I thought so. I'm wrong.
Is he on Grixis? Did we call it Sultai the whole time?
Maybe it's 4 color.
Let's call it Delver.
Perfect. That's all we've seen is Delver, but it's FTV Delver, which really is kind of, maybe you need to decapitalize Delver and just put Delver.
Another mana ramp card.
Oh, look at this. This is a perfect draw. You get to draw 2 and add even more mana. So that's what? 4?
That land taps for 4 mana.
10 total mana right now.
Here's a land drop for the turn.
Presence?
Oh no, that's not a land drop for the turn, sorry. He tapped for 4.
Enchantress's presence. Now there's multiple Enchantresses' presence.
Yep.
There's a lot of S's. If you look at that card. Pull it up sometime. There's a lot of S's.
6, 7, 8. So there are 8 now. If he has 2 Sarah Sanctum, then he can cast Emrakul. Doesn't look like it though.
Wait.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Sorry, 7. 7. So he's not quite there.
Is that a Rise of the Second Sun? Is that what's in Josh's hand?
I don't know about that. But here's a rest in peace. 3 cards are being drawn here.
There's an Elephant Grass.
Elephant Grass might get him there. Does he have any? He does have a green mana. Okay.
I like all the tapping that's happening. I get to draw a lot, is what he says every time he plays an enchantment.
Here's another Sarah Sanctum, but he's already played a land for the turn.
This is fun. This is Legacy at its finest right here. You're about to die to Delver.
So he's got some dice out there representing. He's got 5 green and he's got 2 more white.
And you just get to play enchantments for days.
Or maybe that's the green mana.
So Elephant Grass is the one where it's kind of like a weird prison attack. Creatures can attack, and
Unless
they pay 2.
2, yeah. And
Non-black can't attack at all.
Yeah, black creatures can't attack at all.
But non-black creatures you have to pay 2.
Yes, and then so this is really really good for Josh because he's got mana, you know, to like play around days, and then this is also going to shut down an attack completely. If Terry is able to get a second land onto the board, then maybe he can attack for 3, but that doesn't kill Josh. Josh is still at 4 life. However, he does have a volcanic island. If there's a lightning bolt and a land comes off the top, that could end the game.
Not because he'd have to pay 2. So he would need to pay 2 to attack for 3 and then still cast the bolt.
Well, I mean bolt now.
Oh, if he has a bolt in hand right here.
Yeah,
that would do it. We're just going to keep playing some more enchantments. Just get there. Eventually, Josh is going to have to pass the turn, though. He's run out of manas.
He doesn't want to.
Apparently not.
He wants to live the dream forever.
I mean, next turn, Emrakul is coming down, and that's pretty much game over.
Yes.
Oh. After all of that,
lightning bolt.
Terry's like,
yep, there is a lightning bolt.
Yeah, I've got this bolt card in my hand. It does 3 damage to you. Josh goes to 1.
Accidentally saw the top card of Josh's library there. Yeah. I think he just put it back, and both players are probably like, "Yeah, this isn't doing much." Here's a polluted delta off the top, and this is gonna win the game.
That's one way to lose, right? You go out in style.
Hmm.
I get to play 34 things, and Terry's just sitting there going, "Yeah, go on." What else you got?
Just like, yeah, all this is fine, but you're dead.
All right, so Terry gets game 1 there.
Yeah, well played by Terry.
Well, I mean, he flipped some Delvers over and attacked with them, but
he saw so many less cards than Josh, and he still won.
Let's see if we can figure out what Paul's actually on here. Hey, this is exactly where we left them. They're shuffling, and yeah.
Looks like a quick game 1. Didn't even see what they're on.
They were mulliganing up until I switched.
Or do you think they're still shuffling?
He might be. All right, let's see if we can. I still can't tell. I almost saw a card there from Paul. We got the brown sleeves versus the dark reddish brown sleeves. It's very exciting.
So exciting.
We can judge them on their ability to. Oh, okay. So there's a punishing Grove with the Burn Wells. That's probably lands for Paul.
You saw some things.
And Corey, I think, is on 4 color.
He would be.
He would. He likes playing 4 color. So, do you think the other match is going to have shuffled and sideboarded and drawn before these guys finish resolving mulligans?
I think they're going to finish their next game.
Not that these guys are particularly slow, but they mulled to oblivion last game.
Yeah.
They just kept mulliganing.
That's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah. That's good. We're good.
So did you hear from my streams? Thomas made a new rule. I have to play a deck until I 4-1 with it, and then I can move on.
I did see that. I don't know if I agree, but okay.
I don't know if that's going to be a real thing. I think somebody mentioned they're like, oh right, then I can't wait till the ant month.
Right.
And I'm going,
You'd get really good with it, and then never play it again.
Yeah, I'd never want to play it again.
There's something to be said about that, but we're also purposely trying out a variety of different decks and some spicy brews.
Why do you think I've been playing Eldrazi? It's like there's like no learning. Like you start playing the deck and like you already know how to play it. Like, there's not a complex part to the deck in any way, shape, or form.
I'm kind of interested in trying out this Bedlam Reveler Teamer thing
in Legacy.
I'm
interested.
I posted the list on Discord.
Cool.
It's
Oh, speaking of that Discord, we need to pull that up on there.
That's it. Discord app. Yep.
Is it this one? Or just...
Mm-hmm.
See if I can get this pulled up.
So there, and then there's a link thing somewhere here.
There's a link thing?
Yeah.
To like.
I saw it just earlier today. I'm new to the Discording, but there's a way to like share this.
Invite people, right? Oh,
yeah.
Let's get back to our main match.
Hey, our actual backup main match.
Yeah.
So we're putting together a Discord so that people in our chat can talk about different things that are off of the...
Looks like we've already got some people talking. Mostly you and Thomas, huh?
Yeah. Well, I think that's mostly who's in the Discord at the moment.
There's just 4 of us. No, Faithless Looting joined.
Try that. I'll set it. Copy.
There we go. Put that in the chat. So yeah, this Discord is for people who play Legacy and want to hang out and get to know us better. We can talk about Legacy through this Discord.
How would you rate Enchantress specifically out of 10? Not 1 out of 10, but 1 to 10, just out of 10.
Out of 10? So you can't be in 10 at all.
Anything but 10.
Oh.
I don't know what. It's kind of a weird way to rate a deck. What do you mean rate? Like how
between
how
1 and
good
10
is it?
in the format?
How good is it, or how much do you enjoy it?
MG Flora, he's messing. I got you. No, I think it's probably I probably give it like a below average rating, right?
Yeah,
probably like a 4.
It's a solid tier 3 deck
mm-hmm.
that can certainly steal and win games against certain opponents certain times.
Some decks can't beat this deck.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Like and then other times you're gonna have decks that just like the Enchantress just can't do anything.
Right.
And not only that, but it has this wonderful ability to lose to itself,
mm-hmm.
Which is not something you ever really want when it comes to playing competitive Legacy. But I'd say it's below average.
Yep, you don't often see it at top 8 lists. When I look at This Week in Legacy, Enchantress is never up on top of any of those lists. Every now and then it squeaks in because it's Legacy, right? And you can go on a tear and pull out wins that maybe you're disadvantaged to because it's Legacy. It's
a cool deck. It's cheaper than most.
Mm-hmm.
If you like drawing cards, you're gonna love this deck.
Yeah, you get to do a lot of things while your opponent hangs out and kills you.
You get to have quite the board state. So I think it's a really cool deck, and honestly, I'd be interested in playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would I take it to a big event? No, but would I take it to an epidemic event? Heck yes. Yeah.
And feel good about losing, right?
Like it's fine.
I stole some games, and I went 1-3 or 2-1 or whatever.
I heard Cast Hammer cool.
Yeah. I got to do the things that I wanted to do.
Yeah, it's really cool. So yeah, I give it a 4.
It's also a deck that's probably not going to get better. Some Legacy decks are. I could see Cloud Post or even Delver, there being some new card that just really helps it get stronger. And Enchantress is kind of unlikely to have something like that just come along and really make a difference.
They have a Force of Will, so now this is two Enchantresses that have been dealt with, and this is giving Terry a huge advantage. Miri's Guile's not, it's not actually providing advantage to Josh other than like card selection, and he's not getting more cards off of this.
Right. When you draw a fetch land, it does a really nice brainstorming impersonation where you get to look at some cards and filter some cards, but you don't actually get to put any cards from your hand back.
Got a Green Sun. Now, Green Sun goes and gets Argothian Enchantress.
Argothian Enchantress.
And that is a card that's going to be really hard for Terry to deal with. Maybe there are Diabolic Edicts. Maybe. I kind of doubt it. This is definitely Grixis Delver. I don't know why we called this Sultai Delver last time. Probably because he's played it in the past.
You can, MG Flurry, you can make that exact same argument about several legacy decks.
So many decks.
Right?
So many decks.
Where you go, hey, it's decent enough that you can win with it. It's kind of a pet deck in that the people who like it really enjoy playing it, and yet it's not good enough to go to a big tournament.
Would it surprise you a lot to see an Enchantress list on a top 8, though?
No, just occasionally. Yeah, because if you went to a big GP, somebody's going to be playing Enchantress there.
Regularly, sure, that might be surprising.
Yeah.
No, I think the deck's powerful. Yeah. You see,
it's kind of in the same world as Nyx Fit in that way, right? Where it's in some ways kind of a pet deck. It's strong enough that it could win, but it's not tier 1.
As far as like you're looking for a budget option, right, MG Flurry? Unfortunately, like there are some okay budget options, but realistically, if you want to get into Legacy, you need to buy some duels.
Yeah, so
you're gonna have to.
The Nick Fit decks, the Abzan variety of Legacy, are cheaper than anything that has blue, right? So, like I just showed on This Week in Legacy, a punishing, what did they call it? Punishing Maverick.
Maverick, yeah.
And that's probably significantly cheaper. If you go on to Goldfish, they show prices, right? Mm-hmm. I would compare that really quick to some of the. It still has dual lands, but they're Savannas and Scrub lands.
The way that I got into Legacy MG Flurry is I sold out of a lot of Standard. Like, I used to play a ton of Standard, and then like it just took me a couple years of just getting rid of stuff and like moving into Modern. And then like once I was in Modern, it was like really, really easy to get into Legacy because the price difference between Modern and Legacy really aren't as large as you think. And once you have your duels, you can play most things. Brian Sloan, hey, welcome in.
And at the moment, these punishing lists are significantly cheaper since Grove of the Burnwillows came down quite a bit.
Yeah.
So there's some of the cards that are a little bit more easy to get.
There are a lot of decks that only involve like 4 to 5 duels.
Yeah. And
if unfortunately, if you're looking to play a non-blue deck, Bayou's gone up quite a bit. So like most non-blue decks play Bayou as it turns out. Yep. But that's why Enchantress is a little cheaper, right? You have Savannah. Right. Savannahs are one of the cheapest.
So at the moment, we're sitting in a spot where Josh has that Elephant Grass down. It has a cumulative upkeep. And so Terry can't attack with everything. In fact, he can only attack with one thing this turn. He has to pay 2 for each attacker. Each non-black attacker. The black ones can't attack at all because...
reasons. It's Elephant Grass.
If you're Elephant Grass and you're a black creature, you can't do anything. You're just stuck. You just can play defense. That's all. It makes sense. So he's not even going to attack. So cumulative upkeep goes to 2. He has to pay 2 now. When cumulative upkeep first came out in Ice Age, my play group thought that it doubled. So first it was 1, then it was 2, and then it was 4, and then 8. Ugh. It was really hard to pay cumulative upkeeps.
I believe it.
It didn't make much sense.
No.
It actually just increases by 1. I don't know where we got that rule from. But you had these little tiny Ice Age rulebooks that like fit in a starter deck. Really small text. And I don't think anybody ever really wanted to read that.
Yeah, MG Flurry, if you want to get into Legacy, start now. Just like, I don't know, get rid of some of your bulk at GPs. Or like, you know, and just start saving up. Get yourself a couple duels. It's a lot easier than you would think. But it takes some time. Just slowly work your way in. Start by, like, if you have a local Legacy scene, start by talking to some of the Legacy guys. See if they have an extra deck that you can borrow.
That's a great way.
That's probably the best way to start playing Legacy.
Brian, did we see your comment? No, I saw that comment about you asking about Tamio's journal, but I didn't see the actual comment.
All right, now we've got a rest in peace. A response. Here goes Deathrite Shaman. So rest in peace shuts off Deathrite Shaman completely. All right, red mana, and this is going to deal 3 damage to Josh, and we can't see his life total at all.
He's at some number of life. It's high enough that he's not on the precipice of being dead like he was last game. Brian, what did you want to know about Tamio's journal, or what was your comment in general? It's kind of a weird thing to comment on.
Tamio's journal?
Tamio's journal.
It's definitely a weird thing to
you make a clue every turn, right?
Wouldn't you rather just play Tireless Tracker?
No. Tireless Tracker is like a really good card, actually.
Right.
Tamio's journal is like
Tireless Tracker. You can get all sorts of. It attacks, and you get clues. You replace Azur's Gateway with Tamio's journal. I mean, Azur's Gateway was like an add-in to the deck to begin with. It doesn't need to be there.
Yeah,
You don't want Tamio's journal.
I don't think so. That's a weird. I think you want to be doing something more powerful with 5 mana.
Brian, you have Endbringer. Endbringer is your Tamio's journal.
Yeah.
Like, it can draw you a card, like 2 cards.
And bring the end.
And bring the end.
You can do that.
Yeah,
Tamio's journal just kind of hangs out.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
It's a book.
It's just a book.
Yeah. You have to read it.
It doesn't even bring ends.
Nope. What else does it do besides make clues?
Makes clues.
It does something else too.
No, it does not.
Tamio. How do you spell Tamio? Tamio's journal. At the beginning of your upkeep, you investigate. You can sacrifice 3 clues to search your library for a card and put it in your hand and then shuffle your library. Man, it's a very slow tutor.
I vote no. It costs 5 mana to cast. No way.
That sounds like a really fun thing to be doing in Commander. And probably not good enough for most Commander decks.
Probably not. Alright, so what is this card? We pulled it up last time, right?
This is the card that does something with the thing. And
skip the draw step.
Oh yeah, whatever. It's that one.
What is it? What's the name of the card? That's what happens when
again.
We don't have Captain QC, HC Fox, or Jorgensen. Those are like our book of knowledge people.
Right.
It's time that we had some people step up.
It's solitary confinement.
Look at you. Just kidding. You guys lose. Bryce wins.
I don't even have a tab open.
I don't want to talk about it.
Josh has put himself in solitary. It's got some really purple art.
So much purple?
Pink and purple. Look, there it is. I found it.
At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice solitary confinement unless you discard a card from your hand. Skip your draw step. You can't be the target of spells or abilities. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to you. So you don't want to play solitary confinement until you have a couple of Enchantress cards on. Because you need to be able to discard, and you need to be able to skip your draw step. That's a lot.
And the whole time you have to go, all by myself.
I wanna be...
It's awkward.
That is awkward.
Unless you can sing, and then it's less awkward. But
I could try. Alright, so looks like we're cracking Sterling Grove here. Gonna find an enchantment of some kind.
See, now that's a tutor.
That's a tutor.
Yeah. Sterling Grove, it costs 2. It does something while it's out. And you can just sacrifice it to tutor for something that you need.
It's cheating.
It's more tutorish than a Tamio's journal. It goes on top of your library.
It does.
But you get to draw cards.
Like Mary's got. Hey, let's draw some cards.
Can't be the target of spells or abilities. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to you. That seems pretty strong. I think Josh is going to be all right this game.
Yeah, as long as he can keep up with the solitary confinement, I think he's just going to win this.
Yep.
Now, normally I'd look at things like, okay, Deathrite Shaman's going to clear up this game. You know, like Josh is at 6. It's only going to take 3 turns, but Rest in Peace is on the board. He doesn't have to worry about that.
Yep. Confinement doesn't stop loss of life from a Deathrite Shaman, but Rest in Peace does.
Yeah, Josh is just going to continue to draw a million cards. Solitary Confinement is going to be easy to upkeep when you're drawing 3 cards a turn.
This is way more fun to watch Enchantress from Josh, who can just move through these actions. I've played against some Enchantment players, Enchantress players, and it can be a little slow because there's a lot of actions.
Sure.
And he's not actually doing anything, right? Like,
nope.
He's just playing things and drawing cards. He's not actually getting to a place where he's close to winning. It takes a while.
It does.
But he's making it look pretty easy. That's something to take into account if you're thinking about playing this deck.
Yeah, absolutely. Brian, thank you so much. I appreciate that. We are happy bringing the content.
Yeah, have we had Brian in chat before?
Not that I know of, unless they have a different screen name on Twitch.
Welcome from the YouTube universe.
another draw 3. Oh no, that's Miri's Guile. Okay, Miri's Guile. Miri's Guile again.
It's kind of silly, right? I'm going to look at the top 3 cards in my library, and then I'm going to draw all 3 of those cards.
Yeah.
Meh.
Here's an Elephant Grass.
Which is just drawing more cards.
Draw 3.
1 Sanctum.
Alright, there's a Sanctum.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I lost count. He's counting faster than I can count.
5, 6.
He goes Helm of
79.
Obedience.
Yep, Helm of Obedience with Rest in Peace, and that's it.
So he could have played an Emrakul there, I'm pretty sure. Instead, it's Helm of Obedience with a Rest in Peace. Quick activation. Game over. Enchantress wins. So those are the 2 win conditions, right? Is Helm of Obedience plus Rest in Peace and an Emrakul.
Yeah, Rest in Peace is a card that's like pretty easy for the deck to play. Doesn't hurt you at all. The opponent obviously gets hurt by it in most cases, and then of course, it also doubles as part of a win con.
They're not shuffling.
They're not shuffling.
What is happening?
All right, so let's see here. We've got a Mishra's Factory, an Exploration, a Tireless Tracker, and 6 clues on the board. 6 clues. And then on Corey's side, we've got a Pithing Needle. Now, I don't think you can name clue, right? Like, this is probably either on Mishra's Factory or Thespian Stage.
Yeah.
Probably on Thespian Stage, huh?
Sadly, and then, you can't name clue.
Yeah. And then we've got a Deathrite Shaman and a Belflestrix. Belflestrix is relevant considering Tireless Tracker's on the board. So he does have that running for him. Not to mention Deathrite Shaman is quite good at getting rid of things like Life in the Loam. Got an Abrupt Decay on Tireless Tracker.
Should I post a link here? Gonna get kicked out of a chat for posting the link?
Probably. What, are you jealous that something else is going on right now?
No, they'd rather be watching us than ads. How uncool is it, chat, to post a link to a different stream in a different stream? Like, there's a way about going about it. Hey guys, have you checked out the legacy action that's going on right now? If you guys want to post a link, that would work. I don't think I am allowed to do it, which is too bad.
All right, Dark Depths is on the board.
Right. Yo, it's Tony. You should post a link in that chat for people to come watch Legacy instead of the ads that are happening in that stream.
It is a little unfortunate, because of all the modern hype after the Pro Tour.
Right.
We've definitely seen a downtick in people watching Legacy.
Well, and there's a lot of people, but there's not anybody playing anymore, right? You got to see the first return of Jace activation, yeah. Yep, that's what they did. Lost Mystery. I foresee and a lot of other people have said this too. It's not like some brilliant opinion that's only my own. I foresee a reban of Jace in not too long, which will feel bad.
I've heard so many. I've heard pretty much every opinion. Like I've heard it go from that to like, oh, it's just gonna get banned again, to Jace isn't gonna matter, and then which I don't see that one. Jace is gonna matter in one way or another. And then I've also seen people that are like, yeah, I think Jace belongs in the format. Like I think that it'll be, I think it'll be a card that matters, but in specific decks. And honestly, I don't know. Yeah, control will definitely increase. Absolutely. Not just because of Jace. Well, it's happening because of Jace, but like a lot of like really good players, like PT level players, like their control decks.
Yeah. Yep. And Jace gives you so many options.
Yep.
It's a win condition plus filtering plus protection, all wrapped into one neat little package that works in a lot of different decks.
Yep. All right, so catching back up here real quick, we had a turn 1 Deathrite Shaman and a turn 2 Young Pyromancer, and then Josh had a turn 1 Miri's Guile, and now he's got a turn 2. This is a green sun for 0. I honestly don't know, MD Flory, but all I can say is that I am so excited to cast Bloodbraid Elf in Modern again. Okay, so it looks like a Lightning Bolt was a quick answer to this Dryad Arbor, and that's the sneaky Dryad Arbor. By the way. The forest that's in the graveyard, that is a Dryad Arbor.
They're from the vault.
You can totally tell because it has a power and toughness. That's like the only reason.
Right.
Like,
and it's foiled.
Yeah.
I think it would be really fascinating to know, and I don't think we're ever actually going to know because of the way Wizards disseminates information, what the actual reasoning was for this unbanning. It's really weird that right when Modern was, everybody felt like Modern was in a really great place and diverse and everybody's having fun. They totally shake it all up and make this change, which more and more people are going to want to play Modern now. There's a lot of people who maybe would be more interested in playing Legacy who, hey, let's go play Modern again because I get to cast cards that I get to cast in Legacy and Modern.
Mm-hmm.
And so it might be even more popular than it was. But I could also see it pushing people away who don't like getting Jaced, losing to Jace as much, or don't like Cascade and losing to Cascade.
I've cast a few Bloodbraid Elves in my day, and I'm honestly gonna say this card is going to be good in Modern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it is absolutely going to be.
But
good
it's not going to be as warping as Jace.
I don't know.
It'll be fine.
I honestly do not know.
I think there's we just saw Mardu being a really strong deck in Modern, right? Where Bedlam Reveler was really starting to shine. If you look at it in a certain light, Bedlam Reveler is a Tarmogoyf on a Treasure Cruise, right?
Okay.
It costs 2. It's a 3/4, which can get bigger. You draw 3 cards. You combine that with Jace, guess what you get to do? You get to protect the cards you want to keep with Jace. You put them back. Then you cast Bedlam Reveler, discarding the irrelevant cards, and draw the cards you want. It's really pretty strong.
It's pretty good against all the hand hate.
And that's just red-blue.
Yep.
That's not blue-white or the blue-white-black decks or the blue and anything else decks.
All right, Terry took this game pretty easily.
Yep.
He was able to get a board state very fast. Josh wasn't able to resolve the things that needed to be resolved, and Terry will pick this one up. So let's jump back over to our lands versus 4-color matchup.
Yeah, Yoas, Tony, that's kind of how I feel. That's why I say, and it's going to feel bad because I think a lot of people are going to dislike it. I think the thing is a lot of people realize that, though, right? They realize right now, hey, this card is getting reprinted. It just doubled in value. It's going to sell packs because people are going to want them, and But the set was going to sell well anyway, so I'm not sure how much better it's going to sell.
I think they have really good plans for this one.
And then it's going to get rebanned because they're going to realize that just like Golgari Grave Troll, whoa, we didn't realize it was going to have this big of an impact. And
sorry.
But I guess another way of looking at it is that it's kind of like when they printed Unstable and they said, okay, for a month and a half, these cards are legal in Commander. Have fun. You could look at it in that light, right? For a month and a half, Jace is legal in Modern. Have fun. Explore. It's going to get rebanned, but go figure it out. Figure out what that format would be like. Have fun for a little while. Just don't go crazy and invest heavily in all these unstable cards that you aren't going to get to play with in a month and a half.
Yeah. That's the problem is Jace is, wow. Is that like $100? Or like, I don't even know. But like they're about to be reprinted and they're $100.
It's $130.
Is that really what they're worth?
Yeah. Somewhere in that
range. Even if it was 100.
Yeah.
Gosh, even if it was like 70, I'd be like, yeah, but it's about to be reprinted. Like,
yeah. And you can find Eternal Masters boxes pretty cheap. That was a heavily printed master set that just recently was quite easy to get. Yeah, and Splinter Twins kind of similarly had that feel, right? Where it got reprinted in Modern Masters 2015.
And then it got banned right after.
Right after.
Yeah.
Or they keep doing it, right? It was the same thing with the card I always forget the name of. The core Mystic. Stoneforge Mystic. Stoneforge Mystic was printed as a double in a weird Modern event deck that they did for a little while. You could get two, and it was suddenly affordable. And then like the next day, practically, they banned it from Standard. And so it wasn't Modern, it was a Standard event deck.
The card was in Standard for a while before they banned it, though.
Yeah, but the Standard event deck came out way later, near the end. And so suddenly you were able to afford this Standard card. And so they did this really weird thing where they said, okay, if you want to, you can play with the Standard event deck, but you can't change any of the cards.
That was a weird thing.
Yeah, it was a weird way to, because they felt
you can have Stoneforge Mystic, but only if it's in this exact list.
Yep.
It was so strange.
So I mean, this is like what, the third or fourth time now where they're it's part of what Wizards does, right?
We'll see.
Let's print this card and ban it.
We will see. So I'm loving this. Paul has a Dark Depths with 8 counters on it.
Oh, we're actually ticking down.
Falling out, yeah.
That doesn't usually happen.
No.
Molten Vortex.
Speaking of
a pretty good answer to Jace.
Got a Jace. Yeah, Molten Vortex is pretty good, but he needs to have Life from the Loam, and I think they're Exile. I think Deathrite Shaman's been doing work. He might need to deal with the Deathrite Shaman before he deals with Jace. And it looks that way.
I don't know if it's backbreaking or not. I think for some people it certainly is, right? Those people who foiled out their entire pod deck and then had Birthing Pod get banned, or really figured out how to play Splinter Twin and knew the ins and outs of it, and then it gets banned, and they feel somehow like the game has shorted them. But for the most part, I think making changes, and Wizards has two ways of doing that, right? Printing new cards and shaking up the bans and restricted list for to make changes that way. I think that's generally good for the game, even knowing that Jace is probably going to get rebanned in the future in Modern. I think it's fine.
I actually have a close friend of mine who was a huge Splinter Twin player, and then it got banned. In the deck that he moved to was Infect, and then Infect is now irrelevant.
Got hammered
in Modern. Yeah, I got hammered, and so he doesn't play like it all anymore.
Well, that happens.
Like he was like, he took it really personally.
Yeah,
you know, like
a lot of players went into
Why would I play Modern? They're just gonna ban my deck.
Yeah. Didn't ban anything from Lantern, so yay! Yeah, but now you got to figure out how to add Jace to your Lantern deck.
See that Kripapis Kripammis, that's how I feel as well. Like, we don't know yet. Let's see what happens, right? And then we can make our judgment.
A rotating ban list, that'd be interesting. I think it would be really nice if they gave a little bit more warning. If we had, how about with this exact banned and restricted announcement, right? They said, okay, Jace is unbanned and Bloodbraid Elf is unbanned, but they also said these 6 cards, they're the ones we're looking at unbanning, and these 6 cards, they're the ones we're thinking of banning.
If they had a list like that, it would affect prices a lot too.
Yep. People could be more prepared for it and feel better about being surprised. I was just joking because everybody's going to try Jason every build possible for the next couple weeks here.
No, Kirpami, I'm with Kirpamis on this one. I don't know what Jace is going to do. He might be insane. He might do nothing. I really don't know. Whereas I look at Bloodbraid Elf and I've played with this card so much. Trust me on this one. This card is insane. Like when I love their explanation, because when I was reading it, they're like, okay, so the reason that we banned Bloodbraid Elf in the first place is we wanted to diversify the mid-range decks.
Right.
And so
there was a variety of different types instead of just Jund.
And then they stated, and we succeeded in that. We have these Grixis and blue-black Death Shadow decks, and we have like black-white taxes, and we have
Abzan decks even.
Abzan and Reveler decks. And they're like, so we succeeded, and we feel like the format's in a good place, and we can bring back Bloodbraid Elf. And I just look at that going, so wait. So you had a goal, and you figured out a way to reach your goal, and you reached it.
Yeah.
And so now that you've reached it, you're gonna go back to the way that it was.
Right. So who was playing Abzan at the Pro Tour? Was that Redo? Yeah. Do you think that's a viable deck now that Bloodbraid is unbanned?
I don't know. I really don't know. Bloodbraid's insane.
No, why you just play Jund?
Honestly, Empty Floor, I have no idea.
Yeah,
I don't know how other decks are going to be affected. All I know is that Bloodbraid Elf is going to be powerful, and I think Jace is going to be powerful.
Yep.
That's all I know. I don't know where these cards fit in. I just think that they're good cards, and I think that they are going to affect the format. Whether they warp the format or not, I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know, but I expect them to be very powerful. All right, we just see Game 3 here. Let me update this.
Game 3, Round 2, Game 12.
Game.
Whoa.
Leave me alone.
Often when Magic players have things to discuss, it's probably healthy for the game, right?
Yep.
Would we be discussing Modern right now as heavily as we are, even after the Pro Tour, if this unbanning didn't happen? Yeah, it does feel like a cash grab too.
It does look that way, but once again, like, why make the judgment if we're about to see it happen, right? Like, why sit here and whine about it? Or I'm not saying people are whining, but like, well, these people are whining. There is whining going on, but like, why complain about something and we haven't even seen what's going to happen yet? Right. Like, let's see what's going to happen.
Jace was already a $60 card, right? Like, it was already a mythic.
It's 40.
Was it down to 40?
I think it went down to 40, but I could be wrong.
Still, it was a desirable card. People were happy to open it. It was really good in sealed. It's still heavily played in Legacy. It's not like they took a card that was totally irrelevant and they blew it up. And its price at the moment is probably high. What it's on, it's going to be its 4th printing, sort of, because From the Vault was a thing.
That's hardly a printing.
Yeah,
exactly, Kirpamis. That's where I'm at. It's like I'm excited to play Bloodbraid Elf again. Whether I don't even know if Jund is gonna be good.
Right.
Like, I think it is.
I think we should play Bloodbraid and Jace in the same deck.
I definitely think that Bloodbraid is going to be good.
I think that's it.
I think the Jund is going to be good.
Teamer for life, right?
But I don't know.
We get to teamerize people.
Yeah. And until I know, I don't want to make these fast judgments, like, oh, Wizards did everything wrong, or it was a cash grab, or I don't know. I think that's going to get revealed as time goes on.
There you go, Bloodbraid with Visions and Jace the Mind Sculptor. It's going to be great. Somebody's going to try it. Somebody's going to
Jund is going to be dope. But dude, I've been playing Jund for so long. I'm so excited to be able to play it like at a high level again.
Getting to Bloodbraid into a Liliana of the Veil feels good. Or just about every other card that you get to elf into.
I've done that once or twice. Yeah. It's a good feeling.
I think that happened to you today, actually. Was that yesterday? It was yesterday.
Yeah, I went 4-1 with Jund and Legacy yesterday.
After we got beat by Jund and Legacy.
Jund's good.
So surgical extraction is going to take care of punishing fire.
Mhm.
Where there is magic actually being played here, but we've seen this before.
Yeah, dude, guy Ben, man, I remember when Jund was a great deck in the format. In fact, I picked up my first pro point playing Jund, and there are a lot of people that say that. I hate playing against Jund. It's just a really good mid range deck. You can beat it. It's just it is going to grind you out, and it's a.
And I'm okay if Death Shadow loses a little bit of its popularity and its power.
I do think that Jace getting reprinted is going to affect the Delve cards, and I think that's going to hurt the Death Shadow deck.
So the Gurmag Anglers of the world will not be as strong as they once were.
Yeah, like Delve, play Gurmag Angler, Jace, bounce it. Like, doesn't feel good. Jund was your first modern deck. Oh, we have that in common.
We got the Summer Mistress Factory going on here for Paul. Not to be confused with the spring, fall, or winter.
Is that one?
That's summer.
Okay. Paul has all the nice things.
Summer one's all right. Winter's where it's at. If you want to jump on the Mistress Factory hype train.
I do want to jump.
Well, they're about $130.
Okay.
And all the other ones are closer to 50 or 60.
Okay.
Except for spring. For some reason, people don't like spring. It's like 40.
It's the allergies.
Apparently,
and the bugs.
People are allergic to that factory. It's not as productive, actually, is what it is.
Is that right?
In winter,
people are still getting over
the factories are more productive than in spring. Here's a Jace. I've heard that card is good.
Yeah, it is.
I guess there's another card game that's not it's not heavily known or played. I don't even know the title of it, but it actually has a card in it called like Jace the Wallet Sculptor or something like that as a tie into that's what Jace used to be called. People referred to it back then because it was over $100 when it was in Modern, right?
Yep.
I think they approached 200, didn't they? It got way up there, and now it's back. Right, it
wasn't in Modern very long. It was because when it got banned from Standard and Modern.
Ah, is that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same with Sunforge.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
A little earthquake there.
We've got the porting things.
Yeah, it's gonna get rid of the red source. This can definitely be relevant.
Probably not. Jay sticks up to 7. Corey gets to look at the top card and go, he's still thinking about it.
Probably the exact noise that he's making.
In his head. Sure, you can keep that. Yeah. Death Right was a big deal for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jund.
I'm just excited. I'm just excited because we haven't seen Bloodbraid Elf with Liliana the Hope or the Last Hope or whatever. I think that Bloodbraid is a good reason to run at least like one or two of that card in Jund. Like, being able to cascade into it and then like returning your Bloodbraid Elves from your graveyard to your hand and like casting Bloodbraid again. This seems like a thing that I want to be doing. Also, Culligan's Command can like return Bloodbraids back. Like, they're just, I don't know, it just seems powerful. Seems really good.
Yeah, K Command might be the card that kind of replaces the loss from Deathrite Shaman.
Alright, so we are in turns. You can tell because our timer restarted. Let me get rid of that. Maybe. Some more wastelanding.
What a waste.
What a waste.
Wonder where that card's going to land. In the graveyard. Oh, there it is.
It's like a fine place to land.
Mm-hmm. Jay sticks up to 9.
See another card.
Is it going to get there? We actually haven't put turns on yet, right? No,
I heard them put turns on. I'm surprised they don't have a die to show, but we'll see. Either that or this has been a for fun game and we had no idea.
Doesn't seem like very much fun.
No.
Sitting here drawing one card and it looks like Pithing Needle is on Mishra's Factory, or either that or the Strixes are just stymieing it.
Yeah. I will say this, Corey looks to be in a very good position. Jace is at 9. Corey's got all these cards. You've got 2 Baleful Strix to wall up at 20/20 for a couple turns if you need to. Jace is going to get there. Bunch of irrelevant cards in Paul's hand. I mean, I guess he could split second kill a Baleful Strix. He could.
That's a thing that could happen. Crozen Grip doesn't hit Jace though.
No. Could hit the Pithing Needle.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the card that he doesn't have. Oh,
that's a crop rotation.
Crop rotation is a thing. And then we were having some discussion about how that was going to play out.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. See if they can determine a winner. Maybe, maybe not. Alright, looks like that's the end of round 2. And of course, our timer is not correct. Because for some reason it starts over and won't just say time. It won't do it.
It did, and then it stopped.
Yeah, you fixed it, and then it stopped being fixed.
Yeah. It's okay.
It's fine. Yeah. Everything is fine. Oh, this really got bumped, didn't it?
Sit your head a little bit. That's fine. Just like that.
Works. It works. All right. But no, modern's been a huge topic. You know, we literally just saw a Pro Tour where, you know, most people are because they took it off of the Pro Tour.
Yeah. Because
of all the problems that they were having with it, and like price fluctuation and people getting mad because they had to ban things because of the Pro Tour, and blah 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 blah. This time they have a Pro Tour and everything went well.
And I think they purposefully made the unbanning afterwards, right? They said they were going to.
Yep.
But this way, there's going to be this long period of time where people get to figure out what they can do with these unbanned cards instead of having the pros do all that for them, which is kind of more fun in a way, right?
Brian, I could see Zoo or something like that do it to go to Bloodbraid. Jund will never play a Mana Dork. You can't afford to have a bad draw.
You can also Noble Hierarch into Jace as a turn 3 way, right?
See, Noble Hierarch into Jace makes way more sense.
That's kind
than
of
Bloodbraid Elf.
Kind of. I don't know if it makes more sense, but it's a thing.
You don't want Mana Dorks in your
Bloodbraid. That's not what you want to necessarily be cascading into.
I mean, that's the thing. Is like Deathbright Shaman was like the exception. It's like a win con that you're hitting.
We don't get to know.
Are they already sitting down?
Looks like we have players sitting down for round 3.
I really need to go and have them redo it. Alright, I'll be back again. Leaving Bryce hanging.
I'm gonna text Brian real quick. There you go. Got a question. If there was a new card spoiled that was an artifact enchantment that didn't allow you to pay alternate costs, how much mana would it cost? and that's all it does, it probably would be just like 1 or 2. Usually those type of hate cards are pretty inexpensive if that's all they're doing and they're not having any sort of other effect. It's an interesting idea. It would certainly shut down a significant part of cards, but I don't know. There's so many different alternate costs now that that might be too strong. And Wizards has gone away from printing very specific hate cards that just shut down what people like can do. Yeah, but there's a lot of other things too, right? There's Delve, and there's Flashback, and there's whatever you do with Court of Calling. There's all sorts of alternate costs, and it would stop all of those decks from being able to play Magic, even if it wasn't very powerful, because some decks wouldn't want to play it and it would be too limited. Here we are, round 3.
All right, so I'm gonna have to update some names here, but we've got Ryan on Eldrazi Stompy.
He just tried to Chalice of the Void, turn 1, and who's he playing?
He is playing Gabriel. It looks to be, I think Gabriel has Show and Tell.
Gabriel said, "Force of Will."
Sneak a show.
He exerted his will forcefully.
All right, so let me update our timing around.
And our backup match is Terry versus Corey.
Terry versus Corey.
The Delver type decks against each other. I'm not sure if Corey's playing Delver or not, but he's playing 4 color. Thought Not Seer gets to see
There we go.
Show and Tell, Sneak Attack, and Emrakul. So Emrakul is going to get exiled instead of taking the Show and Tell or the Sneak Attack, the other 2 cards. Gabriel's in a pretty good spot even with that happening. Like he was probably going to win, right? If it wasn't for that Thought Not Seer right then. If he wants to, he can actually Show and Tell out the Sneak Attack to speed up his clock a little bit, but then Ryan gets to play something as well.
That can be risky.
Yeah.
You don't know what's in the Eldrazi player's hand. Not only that, but you don't know if they're the big Eldrazi or the smaller Eldrazi.
I wasn't saying it was a good thing to do. I was just saying you could.
I'm just giving reasoning.
Free mimic, and then no follow-up.
Jeffy, that would be an interesting kind of card. We haven't seen something like that, have we?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to.
Probably not, but it'd be interesting.
I think it hits on just a few too many different things.
Wizards hasn't been all that great about printing hate cards in the last 5 years.
Well, and they straight up said why. They said they found that people would rather have an answer than something that prevents cards from being played, right?
Interesting.
They found that like a card like Abrupt Decay that totally destroys your Tarmogoyf, people enjoy that more than it getting counterspelled, even though it's the exact same number of converted mana cost. Their players don't mind when a card gets destroyed as opposed to being stopped, prevented from being played altogether.
That's strange.
And that's kind of the same thing that they're doing with hate cards. They're preventing some things or possible things without hating too hard on one strategy. And we've seen that affect Standard in really bad ways, right? Where, hey, here's this really cool Emrakul that really cares about how many cards in the graveyard, and there's no way you can stop me from doing anything with the graveyard. There wasn't a single card that
we printed an ability called Delirium, and we give you no way to interact with Delirium.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they were punished for it. They had to ban the Emrakul. It was an Emrakul, right? The 13-mana Emrakul.
Mm-hmm.
And if there had just been just some amount of graveyard interaction, maybe it would have been fair.
Well, Gabriel's still at 13 life. 2 Eldrazi Mimics in play. There needs to be something pretty darn large to make these Mimics deal close to lethal and maybe get out of this one. I don't see Ryan doing that, but
well, if you had a Reality Smasher right here, he'd win the game.
He would, and that's what he would need. I don't think an Endbringer would do it.
Because Gabriel's gets to attack. Ryan's got to choose between sacking pretty much all of his lands or all of his creatures, and he doesn't get another shot at it.
Good old Derp and Derp.
Hey, swing for 15. I lose my lands and just my lands. Right? Oh, I thought he had 6.
Nope, he had 5. 5 lands and loses a Mimic.
I don't think you get to come back from that.
Nope.
I think you can swing for 6. Maybe if Gabriel deals himself 7 damage this turn.
That is so likely to happen.
If he decides to sneak attack out somehow, a Grizzlebrand draws 7 cards, goes to exactly 5, and he still wins.
Sneak attack is the play by Gabriel.
All right.
And we see
Hayabugan.
Oh, yeah. Attack for 6.
Attack for 6.
Got you. That. Down to 7.
Ryan is going out like a man. He really is. You better kill me. You cast that Emrakul with show and tell. You didn't even cast it.
I bet Ryan even said he's like, I'm not actually scooping. I'm like actually sacking my things and then taking the damage. Just making sure that's clear. There was no concession.
I picked up all of these cards, but there's still some in play.
I legitimately lost. All right, let's take a look at our other match. Once again, I'll need to get some things updated.
Do you think that's a viable line in tournament play? If you start scooping up your cards, but you don't scoop all of them, if your opponent scoops up all of their cards first, did they just actually concede?
I've heard things like that happening, so I don't think that's very funny.
No. All right, so this is Terry on the left, playing
feature match all night.
Grixis. He's been winning versus Corey on 4-color. This is kind of legacy at the moment. There's a lot of other stuff going on, but these are kind of maybe the strongest decks or the most popular decks right now.
These might be probably 2 of the 5 that are top tier at the moment.
You have a combination of Young Pyromancer and Deathright Shaman and True Name Nemesis on one side, along with Delver, and on the other side you've got Delver and Young no Pyromancers, but you've got the K commands and the Snapcaster Mages and the more controlling aspects. Yep.
Leovold.
But you also have True Name Nemesis.
This True Name on Terry's side looks like it's going to get there, though. We didn't see anything in Corey's hand that's going to interact with this, and now that a Delver's on the board as well, this is going to be hard for Corey. It's gonna bait him playing Liliana, I guess. 2 cards from Terry. He's probably thinking, oh, please don't have a Daze. He doesn't have a land, though, so maybe he doesn't mind. Yeah, here's a Liliana. Nope, Toxic Deluge. That's a draw.
Toxic Deluge is getting forced, though. Corey would definitely fight over this if he had an option to. Doesn't look like he does.
No. And there's the Deathright Shaman. And back to things looking really, really rough.
Yeah.
Wow, what a draw.
So Terry had a True Name in play, gets a Delver down, it flips. He also had Force plus blue card in his hand.
Yep.
And even though Corey drew off the top Toxic Deluge, it wasn't enough because Force plus blue card. Huh. Sometimes the Grixis player just has it, right? The Delver player. Terry's been having some pretty good success. Like, we didn't see how this game started out, but we've seen very quick flipped Delvers, multiples of them, and it just wins, like we talked about.
Yep. Yeah, he debated over what he wanted to do with this lightning bolt. He ended up coming to the conclusion that he just He just wanted to lightning bolt and
land off the top. Works.
Land off the top gets a Snapcaster. We get the Deluge on 2.
Yep.
And look at that. Corey's right back in it. Talk about some top decks. Did he have Snapcaster?
Yeah.
In his hand before?
Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, Toxic
to
Deluge was just
he
an
needed
amazing.
to land off the top there.
Toxic Deluge was just an amazing draw then. Yeah, and he had to go Deluge into land. Oh, that's crazy.
So here's a Lily of the Last Hope. This lets you get back a Delver of your own, or maybe Snapcaster Mage.
He doesn't have Delver in his deck. This is a 4-color.
Oh, I'm sorry, not Delver. Deathrite. Deathrite of
yeah.
his own is what I meant. Or Snapcaster. Snapcaster looks pretty attractive, right? It's a little slow, but get back Snapcaster, get back K Command.
Yeah, I think this is where he begins the whole value train. Snapcaster plus Colgan's.
Yeah, as long as Terry doesn't see a quick clock, like another True Name Nemesis or something like that, that's probably going to work.
I think what Corey's trying to decide is, does he risk losing the Liliana? Because you play Liliana, you minus, and you're gonna get like Snapcaster Mage, right? But now Liliana's at 1 and Deathrite can just attack and kill it.
Yeah. Yep.
He might actually want to keep it. Odd job. Some people play with their lands in front. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yep. If you're playing on a GP or something like that, and you want to play on camera, you actually can't play with your lands in front. But we're not going to tell people they can't do it here.
This is not a high REL tournament, so.
Right. So here's the mill 2. Sees Strix. So his choice is Deathrite, Strix, and Snapcaster. If there was a bolt, Snapcaster would be automatic.
So this is what he's debating. You know, do I want to start this value train with Snapcaster and Colgan's Command, or do I want to preserve this Liliana? It looks like he's picking the line to preserve the Liliana. He's going to get Baleful Strix and cast it, drawing a card, of course.
That's some pretty good value.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And you know, like he could even plus Liliana this next turn, and then the next turn let Liliana go and get the Snapcaster. He seems to have plenty of mana. It's just kind of, is 7 life going to be enough? Here's an attack for 1.
It's kind of an awkward attack there, but okay.
Yep. Here's an activation from Deathrite Shaman. Man, this is going to put Corey down to 5.
And then there goes that K Command line.
Yeah.
That was, I guess, going to be gone anyway, though. If you'd gotten back Snapcaster Mage, the K Command would have been at risk. Something
really interesting about Liliana the Last Hope, it does not target with its minus ability. I found this out kind of the hard way because, you know, somebody's like, all right, minus mill 2, you know, like mill 2, or, you know, any responses, and I'm like, yeah, I'll scoos your, you know, this, or I want to say, I'm like, wait, don't you have to target? And I actually had to like look at it, and
so no matter what, you're going to get something back as long as there's more than one option.
Yes.
If you like say Deathrite, one of the things, but they still get to take something, right?
Yeah.
So Lily minus 2, milled Brainstorm and Verdant Catacombs. The choices left are a Deathrite Shaman and a Snapcaster Mage. As we just talked about, the Snapcaster isn't as attractive as some cards because, like, the K Command is already gone now, and whatever he targets gets hit by the Deathrite Shaman. That's probably why he was sitting there thinking about whether he wanted the Deathrite or not. So now he could respond with this.
With the Snapcaster.
Terry's actually going to exile his own Force of Will to make sure he gets damage in. This is a good opportunity for Corey to play something, though. So he's going to take it. So this is at the end of Corey's turn. Here comes the Snapcaster Mage.
He needs to get rid of this Deathrite Shaman pretty soon. Only a couple more turns of this, and he'll die.
It's got to be Brainstorm because it's an instant, as opposed to Ponder. Brainstorm's pretty good though. He's got 2 fetch lands, so he can filter some cards away he doesn't want.
He found another Baleful Strix, but even this isn't doing much. And the second you fetch or the second you Force of Will, You're taking a full turn off of yourself because of this Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah, I think it's going to get there. Looks like it's going to.
It looked like Corey could have won, but man, he's just not finding an answer to this. In a deck full of removal and counter spells and good cards, you can't deal with a Deathrite Shaman.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Sometimes Deathrite just gets there. All right. Corey does not shuffle. He'd go down. He can't, right? He can't fetch. Mm-hmm. So he has to try and see what this card is off the top. Or does he already know what it is?
I think he already knows.
Yeah. So he's looking for exactly Lightning Bolt here. Leaving a red open.
No, Fatal Push or Lightning
Or
Bolt.
Fatal Push, yeah.
It has to be one of the
That's
two.
what
If it's not, it's another Belful Strix. That'll be it.
Jorgensen, welcome. We needed you earlier. I don't remember why, but I'm glad you're here.
We needed him?
I don't remember why.
Either. Something about needing somebody that knows stuff.
Yeah, yeah. We weren't sure what something was. We figured it out though.
Yeah.
Deathrite. Again, Terry's using his own graveyard as a protection there. And that does it. So Terry gets game 1.
Let's take a look at what's going on our other match here.
Our other match was Eldrazi versus Sneak and Show. We saw an Emrakul from Gabriel game 1 get it done. This is maybe game 3?
Probably.
Ryan probably took game 2. That's why they're still playing.
They shuffled for a while.
For a really long time. And it looks like I just missed something.
I think Thought-Knot Seer just took Blood Moon. And this is an attack for 4 with Mimic.
And Ryan's got a Caracas in play. That's going to do some work against the potential of the Emrakul.
This is kind of the matchup that you wanted in.
If you guys haven't joined this already, Brian just posted a link to our Discord. We just started this up today. Oh, it's just for Jorgensen. No one else in chat. Just ignore that completely. We're just going to try and use that as a way to discuss decks or other things that we'd want to be doing outside of a live chat.
Yeah, it's a legacy Discord. All about the Paragon City games.
Yeah, whether it's some wonky brew or some tier deck that we're going to be playing that Kyra and I will be streaming, or if you guys have any questions, that's
an easy way to get in touch with us casters.
I already posted a teamer deck that some streamer was playing earlier today that I think is actually pretty fun. Looks fun.
It's just what Jorgensen wanted. A community with nobody in it but him.
The link is just called the Jorgensen Discord.
Isolation.
Solitary confinement. That's what we were asking him about.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah, we were asking about solitary confinement. Yeah.
And then we sing a rendition of All by Myself.
Yep.
Sorcerer's Spyglass. So, okay. Pithing Needle. You jam a needle in somebody's back, a certain body part doesn't work anymore. Makes sense.
Okay.
Sorcerer's Spyglass. You look through a spyglass.
Yep.
You get to see that they have a functioning thing, whether it's an enchantment or an artifact or a creature, and it stops working because you're looking at it?
No, it leaves out the needle part. So you get to see their hand, and then once you get close to them, there's a needle.
Oh, there's a needle.
I don't know.
There's some sorcery going on, right? Because it's a sorceress spyglass.
So it's clearly a magical spyglass.
Right.
That can shoot a needle.
And stop sneak attacks.
Most likely naming sleep.
The looking at somebody's hand part, flavor on, right?
Yep.
Perfect.
Got it.
shutting down that thing permanently as long as the Sorcerer's Spyglass is looking somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that wins on my flavor scale.
And everybody in chat knows it's all about Bryce's flavor scale.
Sometimes you got to fill time while there's shuffling going on.
Sometimes.
So that's what we do here.
I think my favorite yet has been Elephant Grass, but
somebody envisions was Magic racist.
This looks like it's going to be a win for Ryan, though. He's got a lot of pressure on board. Sneak attack's been shut off.
Hey, he's got an Emrakul in hand, though.
Yeah, and there's this thing called Caracas that's untapped and ready to go.
He just needs a Spyglass of his own to shut down that Caracas. You can just
go.
look at that tower in the distance and
You can look at it.
stop it from doing anything.
Yep.
Except tapping for mana.
I wish when I looked at things, they would stop working.
What? That'd be your superpower?
That'd be awesome.
I wish for I could fly. I wish for invisibility. I wish when I look at things, they'd stop working.
I wouldn't be able to do this.
You have to do everything with your eyes closed. Hey, look. Eldrazi takes it. So he did win game 2 and 3.
Well, it looks that way.
It's pretty cool when Eldrazi can pick apart cards from a hand and shut down other cards from a hand in a match where you would think that Show and Tell is favored. There's no force of will to counter the early sneak attack or the early whatever else.
Yeah, they could just put down early pressure. They have a couple cards that interact well. You know, Chalice can take them off all of their cantrips. Sorcerer's Spyglass can take them off a sneak attack. And they're relying on 4 cards in their deck.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna go into Discord right now
and say words
and say things. I still have to figure out how this whole thing works. I've got all this discording.
Wait, is this match even, or are they going into game 2? They're going into game 2. Huh?
Oh,
I can't remember.
This is where I go things. Yeah, I think it has some potential. What's crazy is this list that this was a Hoodlin list. He played it. It was somebody in his chat stipulated it, right? Or a donation list called it. It's very modernable, I think. It doesn't have, modern doesn't have nearly the cantrips that this one does, of course. But I think that, like I was saying, after seeing how effective Reveler was in Mardu, I think there's a blue-red Reveler Jace package that probably will be effective.
Wow. You see that? We just had a Gitaxian Probe and a Cabal Therapy take away 2 Baleful Strix from Corey's hand.
Feels good when you're on the I made you discard 2 specific cards side of the things, and not so good when you're on the other side. He was probably going to cast one of those this turn too.
Probably. Yep. I think that was the plan.
That was a strictly better play.
It really was. Bryce, that was good.
Somebody else came up with that.
Dang it.
I can't take credit. That's a
I haven't seen Captain QC.
Fox.
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
I haven't seen Captain QC today, Brian. Or maybe I saw him earlier, but not during the stream.
Fetch. I'm not scared of Stifle.
Most people aren't when there's no mana
So
available.
we played Cube on Sunday.
Yeah, we
and
did.
I sat down and game 0, which just a practice game. I got stuck with a mold of 5 and I had a fetch land, and then finally I drew another game land and I'm like, okay, it's turn 9, but I'm going to fetch. He went Stifle. I got stifled in Cube.
Good.
I'm like, fetch. Then I proceeded to 3-0 with my Natural Order Tinker
randomness deck.
Unburial Rights deck. It was great.
Sounds like a monstrosity of a deck.
It was actually, I didn't get to play with the Tinker or the Blightsteel Colossus because they didn't fit. But they were in my sideboard taunting people.
They were.
It worked.
I did get Terastodon. Bryce beat me to the dirt.
Did you know a turn 3 Natural Order into Terastodon usually wins the game? 15 power on board is hard to deal with for. I think I had more than that. 18 power on board.
Unreal.
Magic, as it was intended. can't the Discord link to join on my actual account.
Yeah, it wouldn't let me either, Brian. It just asked me what I wanted to be called, gave me a password, and I was like, okay. Just funny because like I'm surprised it let me do that because I gave the exact information for my actual Discord. Maybe it locked me in. I don't know.
Haha, got it. I'm proud of you. I felt your frustration. Hey, look, young pyromancer is pyromancing.
Yep. Not pyro dancing.
Not pyrowomancing.
What the?
Not mancing.
Oh.
Womancing.
Womancing.
Sure. It was funnier in my head.
It had to have been because that was terrible.
Huh. Well, we have him to rock, and we have her to...
No, that one's great.
Oh, okay.
You need to know the difference.
Pyro woman sing.
No.
No? Not a like a womanizer? It's not a pyro woman, sir?
No.
Okay. Sorry, everybody.
Now that we have that clear.
So... Who's favored at the moment? The person with the true name nemesis, the pyromancer, and lots of cards in hand?
Yeah.
Or the person with nothing? Because they got their entire hand stripped by Cabal Therapy.
Terry's probably favored.
Big Red Joe. It got Big Red Joe back in chat.
Yep.
I'm
unimpressed.
I'm proud.
He's like, whoa, did I hear something awful? Hold on. I gotta throw a hashtag in there.
How about another Toxic Deluge off the top for Corey? How about that? Terry's kind of playing into it. Literally just tuned back in. Perfect. Perfect timing. Couldn't have been more perfect. Do you know what two true name nemesis make?
A false name nemesis?
No, that's too obvious.
Oh, sorry.
They usually just make the game over, is what they make. It was funnier in my head.
Bryce on every joke he's ever made.
I feel like you just quoted myself. I think I just said that.
Oh, Bryce on every joke ever.
So now Toxic Deluge is no longer live because Gurmag to forget Angler is here to ruin Corey's fun.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't even get to dig for that anymore. So now he needs a Damnation. Do you think he's playing Damnation?
No.
Why not?
I don't know.
That's a perfect answer. This exact board state.
Damnation's a great card. I don't think it sees nearly enough play in Legacy. I mean, it is pricey. That's the biggest thing.
It got a lot less expensive than it once was. A $70 Wrath of God felt kind of silly.
That's not the kind of pricey I was thinking.
Mana cost pricey. Yeah. Okay. For a little while, it was really pricey. Yeah. Now it's more reasonable at like, what, 20, 25 bucks?
It was so out of context.
That one was so in context.
Yeah, that one was.
Yeah.
Quote 23.
And scoops him up.
All right.
That's what they say.
Terry's going to move undefeated into the last round. Maybe he'll play against some some Eldrazi? Is that what just won on the other table?
I think so.
Now we have like 1 million minutes.
So
left.
There's a card that got popular suddenly because it gets played in my turn, right? It's called Pixis of Pandemonium.
Yep.
And I don't think I'd ever actually said that word out loud. I'd read the card. I knew that that's the spelling. But it's really weird to hear people say Pixis when we have Grixis. So I'm watching streams and people are like, oh, and the Pixis did it. I was like, wait, what? Where's I'm watching Lantern. What's this Grixis?
Isn't it pronounced Pisces though?
Everybody keeps saying Pixis.
Really? Maybe I'm wrong.
Sleepy Bear, hello. How are you?
All right, guys, we got 20 minutes.
Ooh.
20 minutes.
20 minutes. I'm going to go see if there's another match that can jump over.
Excellent.
That's a long time.
That is a long time. Until then, I strongly recommend you guys to check out ParagonCityGames.com. We've got all of your board game needs, all that great stuff on there. And also, if you check out our eBay page, you can check out Cats and Cantrips there, or you can come in store, or you can go to Cats and Cantrips Etsy page. We have a lot of amazing tokens to show. And the newest tokens from Cats and Cantrips are shipping. There we go. So we're gonna have those. We're gonna have those really soon. So the people who have our Patreon, here, let me link that real quick. That's important stuff. So the people who are members of, or people who are patrons, I should say, will be getting their new tokens soon enough. Check out that Patreon.
Nobody wanted to move. They're all heavily involved in games.
What?
So we've only got 2 matches still being played, so it probably won't take the full
17 minutes.
more minutes.
Bryce said, trying to sound confident.
I said probably.
Yeah, probably.
So I gotta show you guys a card because chat hasn't seen this one yet, right? I don't think.
Ah, yes, the altars. Much excitement.
Something to show you guys here. So this is for. Boop. Last time we did this, suddenly all these messages started popping up. Just alter their faces, Bryce. This is a German Lion's Eye Diamond playset for somebody in South Carolina. This is for the People's Cannon deck. The People's Cannon, not Canyon, which is some silly Charbelcher, Legacy Charbelcher. So also on this page, I've got an Elvish Spirit Guide and a Tinderwall, as you guys maybe remember. And this is the third piece that you can't foil for that deck. So now it's all pimped out for him. And this one was a challenge to do. This is maybe the most expensive card I've done, or up there in expensiveness, especially when dealing all 4 of them.
Look at that. The FC Reaper just gave us a 3rd time reset.
Whoa! Well done, FC Reaper.
What a hero.
But these were pretty cool to do, and they turned out all right.
Did you miss anything? You missed the first 3 rounds. We got one more.
We can only see the LED. Right. That's all you can see. You get it. You can go to the page. It's just Felt Altars Facebook if you want to see other stuff. I mean, I can scroll down and show you other things. I showed these last time. There's some elves for a commander deck where it's just a redo, an alternate border, and the color in the picture is a little faded. Yeah, you only need the LEDs. And then I've got some other legacy cards on there that I'm doing for Storm deck. Slowly pumping away at those. I just finished some Lotus Petals, got those sent off. And
are the pictures of those on here?
Yeah, I think everything's on here. If you guys want to jump in there and explore, I guess we can keep looking since we're just sitting here.
15 more minutes. Sure.
Let's see. I also have been doing these masterpiece altars, where I've taken a template that I've been able to cut out and airbrush this metallic paint on. These are strangely really popular, and I get a lot of people interested in them. But I've been having more fun doing these type of legacy cards, these play sets, whether it's all of the different Storm cards that I've been doing, or these crazy
LEDs.
Whoa, sometimes that happens when you're clicking through things. What was the other card you got? Oh, the Spirit Guide and the Tinderwall. The Tinderwall is here, this one. This one is kind of along the same feel, where it's almost an entire change of the way the frame is being done. So what I've done for all these legacy cards is I purposely am trying to use the art that's existing so they're recognizable and more likely to be tournament playable. It's not guaranteed, but...
Looks like Jeffy's got a question for you there.
Can I foil altars?
Show them. build.
I have a Strix that I've altered.
You've done quite a few actually.
Here's a foil. So this is a pack foil, and it looks really nice in person. The picture doesn't capture when you move through the foil. That's one way of going about it. This is I really just copied somebody else's style for this, but kind of showed what could be done. And then these are also foil. This is a really nice technique, I think. Brian's got a playset of these in his food chain deck, where I can use an airbrush to darken but not completely darken black the art, so it really can highlight a certain spot. And these look really nice again in person. I've got a video on the page. Let's see, how do we get to that? I gotta go home. Right here. Let's see how this shows up. Even that doesn't capture it because you don't get the subtlety where the some of the darkness is still there. But I think this is a really simplistic type of altar. It's not very expensive to do, and yet it's a really dramatic effect.
Yeah. Agreed. Captain QC went 2-2 with his blue-black reanimator deck, and he says Pack Rat is awesome.
It is awesome. Everybody likes Pack Rat, except for when it was in Standard.
Yeah. Then you either loved it or you hated it. Or you played Legacy and didn't care.
So, Jeff, if you have any other questions or you're interested at all, go ahead and send me a message through that site or however else. And I'd be happy to chat with you. It's been really fun to do altars for people that are actually in our chat, and that I get to hear stories about them playing with them and stuff like that. It's a little bit more fun than just doing it for... I sent an altar off to somebody in England. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'm ever going to actually hear anything about that altar ever again.
Probably not.
You got rugged the last round? I didn't know that was a thing. Getting rugged.
I think he got...
somebody picks up a rug and throws it at you?
If I had to guess, I would say the opponent crossed a threshold.
because they had threshold?
Maybe.
And that's great. I like that one. They had Nimble Mongoose and they thresholded?
Maybe.
Little Runky, thank you. You should. It's fun to alter cards. That's what Rug Delver does to somebody. Yeah,
that was where I was headed. That's where I was going. Thank you, Captain QC, for highlighting that.
They don't get it. We got it. After you get some more time on Jund. Ooh, alter some blood braids.
That would be so cool. Happy to get some altered blood.
I've seen some Steve Argyle, he's a local here, right? He's done a couple He's done some pretty cool like fan art of his own art, right? Some different styles. I think I could pretty accurately take some of those and alter a blood braid to have a blood braid elf art on it.
Yeah.
Without it being his marker altering style that I don't know that I really dig the Steve Argyle ones. It's cool that he can do those like at a GP.
What's cool is once Bloodbraid Elf got unbanned, I've seen Steve Argyle. He keeps posting more art of Bloodbraid Elf,
right.
Kind of like in different poses or whatever. And you know what? It's really cool. Yeah. I really like seeing that.
But I think I could take some of that and like put that on a card. There's so many things that I want to do, but I actually don't have time to explore right now because I'm so busy actually doing altars.
I might make you do one altar on a Bloodbraid Elf. That way I'd have 4 mismatching ones. He's like, dang it, Kyer.
That seems appropriate.
Yeah.
It seems right.
Right now there are 3 Bloodbraid Elves. It bothers me. Because I need 4. I don't play 3.
Well, there's probably going to be one in the next master set, right? In 25. That just seems correct.
It probably would be.
And maybe it has its own new art.
They have Steve Argyle and Raymond Swanland on the arts, and like plus the original art. I highly doubt they get another one.
They could. He's done enough, right? Like you just said.
Yeah.
All right.
A couple more minutes.
hopefully we're finishing up this round sooner than later. Alter a Jace? Nobody's ever done that before. That'd be kind of cool, though. Something along the same lines as like that LED, where there's this total pattern or thing that Jace is hanging out in, as opposed to. It's been fun to do alters that are kind of the inverse of what other people are altering. Often alters are you have some character that's being placed over the character, right? In fact, I just did some of those today, where I've been doing these alters where I take the character and surround it with something different, and there isn't a lot of that.
No, most things are the thing that you just did, where they wanted Gyarados,
right?
Instead of the main part of the card.
I put a Pokemon on some Magic cards. It felt very weird. Felt very strange.
It was really weird. I think Magic cards are kind of classy with their art in most cases. So like seeing like something like cartoony or silly, I'm always just like, just doesn't feel right.
Yeah. I know, right? Somebody asked me to, and I did it. They're getting done right now. It's so different than what I normally do, though, that I don't know. My time is limited. Altar of Jace. Enjoy my stay while it lasts.
That sounds like a bad tattoo.
Or how about altering a Search for Escanta to be a Search for Jace the Mind Sculptor? That seems fair, right?
Hey, can I get a Yu-Gi-Oh version of Mind Twist? Sorry, that already exists. Can I get a Yu-Gi-Oh version of Omniscience? Yeah,
or the best tattoo. My time here is limited. I won't be here for long. Yeah, it's interesting. Going from doing alterings is just a fun little, hey, this is a fun side project where I like Magic cards, and what could I do that somebody hasn't done before, to doing it pretty consistently now. I'm filling a lot of my free time with trying to pump out these alters as fast as I can for people, and kind of getting into that world. And yet there's a lot of people who do alters, and their stuff is so amazing. I feel like I'm just scratching to get into it. But I guess the thing that I bring that a lot of other people don't is I do a digital mock-up of all of these first, and so I can actually show you a pretty good idea of what the cards are going to look like first, and then it's pretty close to, I've so far gotten pretty close. Sometimes the digital version looks really good, and I have to kind of preface it saying I'm not going to be able to do quite this, but
yeah, you can get close.
I doing the design work itself is what I guess is setting my stuff apart from some of the other stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I know that there are a lot of alterists out there that like, what do you call it when you like peel parts off of the card?
The foil peels, yeah.
Foil peels. Uh-huh. I've seen some of those. Most of those are like EDH cards because like they're so different once you've done it. But still, just like seeing those are insane.
Yeah, there's one person in particular. He's in France, and his stuff is really cool. But you have to order them from France. You're pumping out short stories like hotcakes. That's cool. What kind of short stories? I don't know how you get into that.
Cake.
Not just cake, hotcakes. That's like pancakes with a whole bunch of syrup and butter on it. Even better. Yeah, cake you like want to bite and then you want to drink a milk or something. Pancakes, on the other hand, that's like a every other morning thing. Maybe some bacon or some sausage next to it. Sounds like we got ourselves a short story.
Reaper seems to do fantasy ones. Fantasy short stories.
Oh! That's he wasn't talking about the fantasy of. Cool. I like. So do you post? Do you actually like publish, or are you doing fantasy short stories like on a website?
Or like, is it a school thing? Or
I mean, there's a whole world of fan fiction and stories online. It's pretty neat how some authors. There's an author I found. I have no idea. It was years ago I found, and then he started self-publishing and actually sells physical books now. It's pretty amazing.
That is crazy. You said there were 2 matches left.
There were.
Unbelievable.
We're going right down to the time, or as it's slowly ticking. Are you guys at home just staring at that? 3:13, 3:12, 3:11. It's approximate. Don't look at it that closely.
Wait till it hits 0. I do wonder how Modern's going to change as far as like, is it getting closer to Legacy now? You know, does it feel a little more like Legacy just because these 2 cards are getting unbanned?
For some people, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then they'll try it out and realize that they missed their Death Rights and their Force of Wills and their Dazes and their,
of course,
their whatever other cards that they should have been.
I mean,
in their deck. For
me, I'm excited because like I played Modern, and I was a Junt player, right? Like I just played Junt.
That's what Modern was.
That was it. And then Junt became irrelevant. And so what happens to a Junt player when their deck becomes irrelevant? They stop playing the format. I didn't do it like, oh no, Junt's not a deck anymore, so I'm not gonna play the format. I just like kind of stopped.
I'll play as a commander or something.
Yeah. And so for me, like my deck's coming back, so I'm really excited. That, and I already know that I'm going to be playing in Phoenix in a month in Modern.
Nice.
And now I know I get to play my deck, so I was struggling to find a deck to play.
Unless we have an emergency ban before Phoenix.
Don't say that. Who let him talk?
I'm very surprised that they unbanned Jace. I would not be shocked. When is Phoenix? Is it before or after Masters 25 gets sold?
I think it's the week after. I think it's the week after it comes out.
So GP Phoenix happens. Isn't there another GP?
Or is it that week?
Timing.
I can't remember.
Things. What? What'd I do? Why are you yelling my name?
I think you said this to you.
Yeah. Publishing stuff very soon. Self-published. That's awesome. A self-project. So do you have like beta readers or a group that you're that at least are reading your stuff? Masters 25 release is March 16th. Hey, what? It releases as the same
it is that
as
weekend?
GP Phoenix?
Yeah.
Cool.
We're not going to see a banning. We're not going to see an emergency banning.
No. Maybe
not by then.
Right afterwards.
Maybe.
You get to play with Bloodbraid for one GP.
I would be so pissed.
No,
they would. Mad.
I don't think that's what they would ban.
I would be so mad. I get to play it like one time and then just my dreams just end.
Jace will be there until the April bans. Yeah, probably. We get a month, approximately.
There would have to be such like a glaring metagame shift for that to happen. I don't see quite that happening, because keep in mind, modern is in a spot where like if you're playing Affinity, Jace gets unbanned, and like what does that mean for you? It doesn't mean anything. You just play Affinity, like if you're playing Death Shadow, like I don't know, maybe a Jace goes in it, like maybe you don't care and you just attack face, and like maybe there's not a lot of Jace, like who knows. But all these people who have like their niche decks, they're not switching too much, right? Some people might be going, oh, Jace is back, all right, I'm on board. I mean, for me, Bloodbraid's back, and I'm like, oh, Bloodbraid's back, all right, I'm back to Jund.
Jund getting popular again is bad for Affinity?
Absolutely.
Anything that's bad for Affinity is probably good, right?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
So we should have time in the round.
Oh, MG Flory, you wanted my Knicks fit list, huh?
I have.
I can get that real quick.
All right.
I forgot to give MG Flurry asked for it.
He did a good video over modern changes, huh? What decks did he think were going to become? What decks that are absolutely not viable right now did he think were going to be viable? Because a lot of what I saw previously has been like, hey, Jace makes this particular deck significantly better, or Stoneforge Mystic makes this particular deck. But I think there's going to be some decks that weren't even on radar in Modern that will be. What am I doing?
I don't know. You were reaching for it before.
Oh, I was just, while you guys are hanging out here, if you guys want, here's, I've posted a link to this humorous recap, and it's a little bit more obscure. It's harder to find. This is the Gestures recap. I haven't even read it yet because it comes out on Tuesdays. And so it came out just today. And of course, he starts off talking about how Magic Online sucks, but he still plays it. And just other things that have been going on in Magic. It lasted a while. While we're waiting for this next round.
Yeah, MG Flora, I can definitely see that. Like Storm doesn't really care about either of these cards very much, so it probably gets a little bit better. Keep in mind though, control in general is usually pretty good against Storm. So if Jace really does bring back control decks, like I would expect to see a slight hit. But even then, like I don't know, I'm sure there is going to be a deck or two that comes out of this really well.
Like Colorless Eldrazi.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Splinter Twin.
Yeah, that one.
Kiki Jiki.
That one will do great.
Jace the Mind Sculptor. That's a deck.
You're hoping the format just slows down a bit? That would be just fine. If it slows down a full turn, I think that would be a good thing.
And your Pithing Needles will matter again.
Give me time to cast all my 4-drops.
Yeah.
All my Bloodbraid
and Jace.
Yep. Yeah, Lantern probably doesn't want a card that could ever get stranded.
Boo.
Like, Bridge is like the highest mana cost card you can possibly want. And that's because you literally have to have it. In a lot of matchups.
Not Splinter Twin? No. Okay. I mean, it's still banned, so it's too powerful for Modern. But Jace the Mind Sculptor, I like that argument actually quite a bit. When you go, okay, wait a minute, Jitte is banned.
Yep.
But Jace is...
Legal.
Stoneforge Mystic is banned.
Yep.
But okay. Splinter Twin is banned, but Jace...
Lantern should get worse with these unbans. I agree. Control and Jund tend to have an okay matchup against Lantern.
Yeah, and getting to cascade into things. Good luck, Lantern.
Yeah. I'm not going to say Jund is like an amazing deck versus Lantern, but it's probably yet another 50-50, just like every other matchup that Jund has.
Or sticking a Jace against Lantern and being able to manipulate the top of your library.
Yep.
That feels good. Anything that Lantern gets worse with, I'm on board with.
Why is that?
I just don't really like Lantern.
You don't?
No. Somebody had a really great analogy for Lantern because right after it won the Pro Tour, everybody, it should get banned, right? Somebody said, because we just had the Super Bowl, he said, all right, so let's compare it to the Super Bowl, where if you're playing a really good control strategy, it's like playing really good defense in football, right? You're stopping your opponent from playing offense, whereas Lantern is like not letting your opponent put the ball on the field. And they had another, and there's no timer or something like that. Some weird, like you don't even get to play the game. And that's kind of how I feel about Lantern.
Yeah.
I think there's kind of two crowds. There's people who like Lantern and feel like it's Magic at its finest or whatever. And then there's other people who don't. Yeah, I don't think it's whining that it won. I think it's just whining that it
I know so many
good
people,
enough to be.
That's what's so funny, Jordan.
Top 8.
I've heard a lot of people complain about Lantern even before it won.
Yeah.
Which I do think is a little silly because it's not a huge deck in the meta. It's there. It exists. Like, don't get me wrong, it is powerful, but I don't think it.
I think I would
advance.
whine if Storm won a big like a Pro Tour type thing too.
Yeah,
because it borders on to me not really playing Magic.
Yes,
and Lantern more so to me because it really stops you from getting to the other player from even getting to play.
Right, it's just not fun to play against. Well, neither is Jace, so they just unbanned that. So
yeah, but at least Jace, you have shots, you have chances, you have a way.
It's a
to
permanent
deal
that
with
you can kill. Dreadbore is a
yeah.
card.
Yep.
Lightning
or you
Bolt's
can
a
attack
card.
into it. You can use your creatures. Storm is playing Magic. Yeah, that's how Storm players feel, and that's fine.
That is how Storm players feel.
Yep. At least my deck can still interact with Storm
I think
on some level.
I think when you're playing with Storm, you are playing Magic. But I think that when you are playing against Storm, you are not playing Magic. In most cases.
Yeah.
And that's similar to how people feel about playing against Lantern. Storm might be a little easier to interact with.
Yeah, so when you're playing against Lantern, there's kind of the game where you're still playing Magic, where they're trying to assemble the lock piece. And then once they lock, there's this weird, it's going to take a really long time, and maybe there's a chance. Sometimes there's not a chance. But if you just say, oh, I lost, and that's what you saw at the Pro Tour, right? You saw opponents going, there's no way I can win, right? And the Lantern player was saying, nope. And so they'd concede. But it's weird that there's this whole period of time that you have to keep playing before it actually ends. Whereas Storm kind of does the same thing, right? I assembled the pieces, but I win right then.
Yep.
And it feels better for some reason.
All right, we have some people sitting down in seats and whatnot.
Round 4. We're going to have Terry versus Ryan, probably. Jeskai Jund gets better. Affinity gets worse. Turn 3 combo decks get a lot better. Just don't know which one yet. Tron gets worse because turn 3 decks get better. Okay. And even though Jund is a bigger percentage, Shadow stays the same because it's good against turn 3 decks. Huh. And what's interesting there is there's no real mention of the new Mardu lists that became the Gary Thompson.
Jerry
Thompson. Gary, what did I say? Gary?
Yeah.
Jerry Thompson Mardu list, the Pyromancer Reveler decks, which could also be a Jace Reveler blue-red deck.
Well, there was a Pyromancer blue-red deck. So, like, adding Jace to that, I mean, that was already top 8 Pro Tour.
Yeah.
So.
Larry, Jerry, Smerry, something like. I actually quite like Jerry Thompson.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, he also said everything else gets worse. Yeah, it's true, right? Why would you play Mardu if there's Bloodbraid and Jace? Like, you're gonna pick one of those two.
But that's the thing, though, is like if we actually think that everything is getting worse, then don't we have like two clear top decks, like a Jace deck and a Bloodbraid Elf deck, and then we have a problem in Modern? Like,
it's going to be one or the other, right? You're not going to play Abzan, you're going to play Jund. You're not going to play Mardu, you're going to play blue-red. You, Delver. Grixis Delver versus Eldrazi. And we don't get to know what's on our backup match.
No. I think it's Corey and Paul. We don't get updates today. I had to go and like manually get my other 2 updates.
Here is a Delver, straight out of the vault. That's where it's from.
Vault?
From the
FT? V?
Should have gone back into the vault.
So this is a Glimmer Post from Ryan. Not a great start when it comes to lands, huh?
This is maybe the first time we've seen Delver not flip for Terry today.
Yeah. Just one coming across, trading damage with that Glimmer Post life. that was gained.
All right. So my feelings on that Delver.
Go on.
I don't really like it. Whoa.
Is mono green Stompy a good deck in Legacy? I don't know of a mono green Stompy.
There's kind of a mono green list, right?
Nickfit is probably no.
For a little while there was like a weird Garuk make lots of, I guess it was more modern though, right?
That's the modern one.
Untapped lands.
Yeah.
So Ryan used a Simian Spirit Guide to pay for days on his Eldrazi Mimic, and it ends up getting bolted anyway.
Makes sense.
So I guess that's a 2 for 2 if you want to look at it in terms of value.
But Delver still hasn't flipped.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to matter because Ryan is stuck on 2 lands.
Yeah.
True Name Nemesis coming down answers just about anything that's big other than Reality Smasher. Delver still doesn't flip. He's going to attack with this Delver, and Ryan goes to pick up his dice total and goes, whoa, wait a minute, you're attacking with a Delver? Okay, I'll block that. I'll trade my Eldrazi Mimic. Time to get brewing. You mean because of From the Vault Delver? Is that why? Because you got to figure out what the perfect teamer combination of Bloodbraid plus Jace is. You should just play with unbanned cards, actually. What's the other most recent? Oh, Ancestral Visions. There you go. That's a deck. You don't even need to brew. I just did it for you.
Done. All right, we've got
kind of fun. And just register a name, unbanned.
All right, here's an endless one with 4 counters. I think Nate played a mono green something at one point.
Sounds like something Nate would do.
But he didn't keep playing it. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
I think as far as mono green goes, it's Elves. There's no other deck.
And so yeah, we kind of discussed this back when we were playing the Nyx Fit deck. Mm-hmm. The thing that if you're not going to play blue, you need to have some interaction with their hand in the form of Cabal Therapy and Thoughtseize and stuff like that. So going mono green, you lose all of that. You lose being able to interact at all.
I think you need to be a combo deck for mono green.
Yep.
Which is what Elves is. It's a pretty good combo deck, actually. Mm-hmm. Not doing too well in the standings at the moment, but boy, is that deck amazing.
And, you know, here's a Stompy deck that still gets to interact with an opponent. Mm-hmm. Or play Shocklands and Death Shadows. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and then you're on not a mono green deck. The thing is, in Legacy, there's faster ways to get a huge amount of mana and put out something big than a Garuk plus Genesis Wave or other things. That's a semi-viable thing in Modern, though. At least it was some period of time ago. Everybody's gone. Attacks for lethal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Blocking a death right, taking
and you
5.
Die. He's like, oh yeah, I'm dead. All right, Terry picks up game 1 here. This is Gabriel versus Corey.
Gabriel's on the Sneak and Show and Tell, with some number of Omniscience in the main, which is pretty typical. I think it's 2 obs, right? And then you're just trying to sneak out either a Emrakul or a Grizzlebrand. Derp and derp.
Yeah, derp and derp. That's what I said.
Versus 4-color. Versus I get to ponder and look at things. I get to point to that moon in the distance. Think about it. Wonder which order I would put the moon in.
So that card makes sense, but Sorcerer's Spyglass now.
Totally makes sense. You get to think about things. That's what Corey's doing right now.
He is thinking.
And then he's done thinking about it. Makes way more sense. It doesn't stay out on the battlefield preventing Gabriel from thinking about things. No?
You're right. You're right. Do we need to go back to Elephant Grass?
Chat's with me. They're following along. Yeah. And pointing. Pondering and pointing.
Yeah.
That's what you do when you ponder.
Put it down onto the battlefield and just slide it. Look here, there are moons.
Snapcaster attacking for a very pointless 2 damage. And the recently unbanned in Modern, Chase the Mind Sculptor.
Jasse.
This is the From the Vault version.
Just like Terry's Delvers.
Nope, this one's fine.
This one's okay.
Yep. I mean, I don't prefer it, but at least I can still see what it is. It's not a Delver in the dark.
It's Delver in the dark.
If you want to put the round timer up.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
For our lovely viewers.
I did.
I just turned it off.
Sure.
There it is. 40 minutes. You get 40 more minutes of this amazing legacy-ness. What are you going to play tomorrow in Magic Online? Do you already have a...
You're going to be here, aren't you?
What are we going to play tomorrow on Magic Online? Do we have it lined up?
This is like how I feel every single day. I'm like, I have no idea.
Oh, yeah? What we should do is we should like actually post a schedule.
We should.
And have a plan of action.
I'd like it if people could sub and decide for me, but they never do.
Occasionally they do.
We've had a couple. Yeah.
Did we get a sub yesterday?
We've actually had quite a few subs in the last couple of days. But I know that we have to play Steel Stompy again.
Grizzle Storm, Big Red Joe says. I enjoyed Grizzle Storm.
Grizzle Storm was actually kind of fun.
We could put together Teamer Reveler.
That'd be fun. I'd enjoy that.
It'd be kind of interesting to see how that deck actually plays.
Yeah. It just seems like the blue-red Delver deck kind of with green, and you just kind of slow down the deck a little bit. Not a Delver deck anymore.
Yeah. You just kind of hang out for a while playing cantrips until you land a Jace, a Reveler, or a Tireless Tracker, and then win.
FC Reaper, if you ever see me playing Eldrazi in Legacy, it's because I'm still not awake.
Oh.
It's the deck that I don't have to think when I play it.
That makes it more impressive when you've gone like 4-1 with it, I guess.
Yeah,
the deck plays itself, huh?
I know, I should play Sneak and Show on those days a little more.
Corey actually particularly likes this deck because he actually has to think.
Yeah. I particularly like playing the decks that I do have to think.
Baleful Strix draws a card. Brainstorm, draw some cards. If there was a Leovold out, none of this would be happening right now.
Nope.
We here at Paragon like to think about things that don't matter. Like if there was a Leovold in play for this,
you had to group every Paragon person in with that, didn't you?
I'm pretty sure all of us do.
Yeah, well, speak for yourself.
I do. Hey, look, there's a Leovold, just like I was talking about. Another pointless attack for 2. Eventually, all these pointless attacks are going to matter.
No.
But right now, they don't at all. He's a 14, by the way.
Can't quite see all of his life total, but 14. That's the number. What happened to Sneak's lands? They lost their sideboarder and became beautiful.
They got unstabilized. better sideboarder.
Yeah. Isn't that what happened? It
No.
still has a top and bottom border.
He just hasn't drawn any additional card lands.
Is that what's going on, or are we talking about the unstable lands?
I don't know. This is kind of a weird. We get to just watch the four-color player put out some things and eventually win. Having Leovold out is pretty strong against Sneak and Show. There's a lot of cantrips in the deck. There's Brainstorms and Ponders and Preordains and things that are meant to find you the things you want.
Well, let's jump back to our main feature match while nothing's happening over here.
He seems to be way behind on lands.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we saw Delver win. And here we've got a Deathrite putting out a True Name Nemesis. A Nemesi.
Nemesis.
That's one of the worst blocks in sets in Magic, is Nemesis. And here we've got a card that has Nemesis on it. All his dust gets dazed. Ooh. Simeon's Spirit Guide out of the hand.
To pay for days. Oh, he has to force it.
Force of will.
All right, he's gonna throw his Delver. He's gotta feel okay about this. This is like a huge trade. He knows that Ugin's still in the hand, but he's nowhere near playing. No, he needs 6 more mana to play it. It's just not happening. There's only one other card that he has to fear, and he's just sitting there looking at a 2/1.
So that play doesn't work, does it? What he just did?
What do you mean?
So, I have Ugin.
and Temple do work with all his dust.
Colorless Eldrazi spells.
Yes.
Okay, so it does work.
Yes. Use the force.
He did. He used the daze and the force.
Ryan was dazed.
His name's not Luke though, so that doesn't make any sense.
His name's Ryan. Yeah. You can see that on the screen.
No, Terry used the force.
Oh, Terry. Oh, yeah. His name's Terry.
Yeah.
The other guy's name is Ryan.
True Name Nemesis attacks for 3, and a Delver comes back out of the vault.
Back out of the vault. Jeez, you're almost getting more worked up about this than you do about Gamble in Life and
Why did you have to go there? That's weird. Reality smashing some reality. Delver finally flips over.
Finally.
Yeah.
First turn.
First try.
First try.
And you get to cast the spell that flipped it over? That seems unfair. Isn't it enough to turn a 1/1 into a 3/2 flyer? You get to Brainstorm as well? Broken.
You're showing your opponent what's coming. It's like, hey, not only is this Delver gonna hit you in the air, but also there's this thing. It's gonna happen.
Yep. I usually just flip over the top card of my library anyway during my upkeep, just because here's what's coming. It's perfectly legal. How close is Ugin now? Not at all. Why isn't Ugin an Eldrazi dragon?
For him to cast Ugin this game, he would pretty much need to go Cloud Post into another post of some kind, so like a Vesuva or a Glimmer Post, I think.
Or just a soul land, like a city.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of life to work with though. Like City of Traders would not be good because he would have to play additional lands to get there.
So we're at some number of life to some number of life.
Yeah, so here's an Ancient Tomb. This isn't going to work because
it's too old.
Way too ancient.
Yep. And it's a tomb. It's a thing dead people play.
Oh, he's dead.
Right?
He is absolutely dead.
It's on flavor. It makes sense.
It's like Terry's going to take this one in like 15 minutes of in a 15-minute match.
Bolt.
Hey, look, I'm gonna bolt you. He's like, oh yeah, well I have this Eye of Ugin that doesn't help me cast Ugin.
No, what? That doesn't make sense. It's an Eye of Ugin.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Oh man.
Well, Terry's our 4-0 player tonight. Man, he had tore it up with Grixis Delver today.
The Grixis Delvering did some Delvering. We saw a Delver flip really quick. True names come down and very easily timed Force of Wills that just got there. We saw twice in that matchup we saw a Simian Spirit Guide from the hand, pay for days, and he just went, "Oh, I've got this Force plus blue card also." That's rough.
Joke's on you.
Yep. You tried to next level me, well, I just brought you back down to my level.
Got him.
Now we get to bring you to the fun shuffling phase of Legacy. Everybody's favorite, especially me.
It's one of Matt's favorite. Every Friday he starts shuffling. He's all proud of it, you know. Like, and as always, bringing you the best shuffle.
Ooh, the best shuffling. Mm-hmm. The shuffle phase. Yeah, Jorgensen likes it.
No, Jorgensen only likes it when they use the pile shuffle technique.
Oh, I need to do that more for him. Yeah. Every time I'm on camera. I only do half a pile shuffle though.
How do you do half of one?
You just pile shuffle half your deck and then just scoop them all up.
So you pile half your deck and then not the other half?
Yeah.
Yep.
But you like keep them in order too.
That's weird.
Yeah. It's a good use of time.
Sounds terrible.
Obviously is best. All shuffling is nice. Huh.
I bet Jorgensen is saying this while he has cards in his hand in his
shuffling. He's sitting here going like this. He's rifle shuffling.
Probably.
I just mixed up all of these cards.
Yeah, you did.
They're shuffled.
Thank you.
I'll put them back into order now. Oh, look. Stop spying on me.
No, Jorgensen, I'm not going to be in Phoenix till next month. Then the spying starts.
Yeah? Is Jorgensen going to play in GP Phoenix?
I don't know.
Get his almost more like Legacy Modern on?
There'll be a ton of side events. So like even if you don't play Modern, like obviously if it's in your city, there's going to be a ton of Legacy side events.
So you're saying they'll take your money?
I could say that. Why is it always about money with you people?
Not going to play in the main event.
Yeah, see? Side events. Gotta play Legacy all weekend.
But you have to go to the side. It's really awkward. Like there's this big area of tables and everybody's sitting on the floor on the wall next to the wall.
Some people like the side. Don't take this away from them.
No elbow room. Everybody's all crammed together.
The price of having fun. The price of having fun.
All right. Game 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Between Corey and Gabriel.
Our last match of the night.
We're going to think about these hands. We're going to ponder.
This doesn't look like a great hand for Corey.
Oh.
And obviously not for Gabriel either. Corey's got a hymn to Torok, and I feel like he's just gonna bank on this sucker. A surgical, couple lands.
It could work.
It could. I'm gonna bank on it not, but we'll see. Sometimes Sneak and Show just kind of beats itself, but I mean, you only have those 8 creatures, you know, and they're not always on the top of your deck. I've seen it happen plenty of times where they're not.
Yeah, and normally you're able to cantrip into them. Sometimes you can't. All right. He scries. He's keeping his hand. He's not sure about that scry, though. Can't rip.
Can't rip. That's what I said.
It's either a cantrip or a can't rip. One or the other.
Oh. Then when you add cats to the cantrips, And you have these cool tokens.
That's what I was just shuffling.
Yeah, you're shuffling the tokens.
That sea is underground.
It is.
It's hard to see it. Let's dig a hole. And then you can see it.
Please tell me Big Red Joe's pun impressed.
There's some Deathrite Shamaning that has Shamaning Sickness.
And just a brainstorm? Or...
Yep. Storming the brains. Well, just doing it once. Storming the brain.
Just one brain.
Yeah! Got there.
Got there.
10% off all TCG player listings with photos right now, apparently. That's pretty good. And as I understand it, the listings are actually, there's not a fee for the sellers as well. Or there's less of a fee. I'm trying to make this photo thing a reality.
The photo thing.
So on TCG Player now, you can upload actual picture cards. So if you have a signed card or a heavily damaged card or an altar, you can list it with the photo and the corresponding price. Whereas before, if you had a signed card, the only category it could go under was like damaged, which doesn't make sense. Like nobody was selling Chris Rush lightning bolts on TCG because
for damaged.
Yeah, that's what they had to be listed as.
That's really smart. It's kind of surprising that that's not something that's happened before.
Yeah.
I wonder if Patrick's going to be on top of that.
I told him about it as soon as it went live.
That seems tedious.
Yeah,
for a store.
A little bit more so. But if you've got some signed cards or foreign cards or slightly damaged cards or something,
might help you sell those.
Yep. Yeah, of course. Graded cards are also now a thing on there as well. $10% off is a pretty decent discount. Normally TCG does like maybe 10% back or 5% back. If it's actually just 10% off, that doesn't happen very often. It's probably just until the end of the month, or maybe not even that. Show and tell. What would you like to show for show and tell today?
Bloodbraid Elf.
Aren't you supposed to bring different things to show and tell? Like my kids they don't have show and tell anymore. They don't call it that, but they have something where they get to bring stuff occasionally.
I would put in Academy Rector right here.
Academy Rector?
That would be the card. Either that or Overwhelming Splendor.
Overwhelming Splendor if you were on the other side of things?
Yeah.
It's a kickback. Okay, that makes more sense. Which is still strong. And it's just $50 per item. Okay, so you could $50 per item is still, you could buy a $500 card and get 10% kickback.
That's great.
I've not seen the show and tell Battle of Wits clip. So one person gets to show a Emrakul, the other gets to show a Deathrite Shaman. Okay.
Is that what he showed?
Mm-hmm. Maybe he told. Because it's show and tell.
I think he just put in the Delta.
Oh, was it a land?
I think so.
That's not a very good show and tell.
No, really not.
It's a ramp. It was his fetch. Keeping me honest, Bolo 4J. I'm glad I was corrected in this very relevant moment that I think Corey's going to lose no matter what he does.
Whatever, Corey's got this.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't.
Protection from instants, is that what it had? Protection from colored spells? What does Emrakul do? It just wins usually. So.
Colored spells, yeah.
Okay. You know what's really great about the teamer list that maybe we're going to play tomorrow? It plays Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah.
And Snap. It's like a Vapor Snag that you get to untap 2 lands. So you get to snap. That's a thing that we might get to do.
That's just flavor.
if we play it. How dare Gabriel ramp his opponent? So was that 1-1, or is that game over?
1-1.
Oh, we get another game for you guys.
We do.
That was a really long, drawn out. The new snap art. Yeah, there is new snap art on Magic Online, isn't there? There isn't new snap art in a card, is there? Oh, there is. It's in Mind versus Might.
Oh, cool.
You mean you don't like
snap.
the like blue demon thing going cowering in fear? You don't dig that one? You like
snapping is scary.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, there's a new desperate ritual, right? I think there was a different
card was
desperate ritual.
Desperate for new art.
Desperate. So desperate.
Yeah.
Or was it pyretic? I can't remember. It was one of those rituals, yeah.
Ready, set, round 3, fight.
See, in my cube, I like to put a lot of like promos and like interesting things like that. There are so many times where people will pick up cards and they're like, I had no idea this had an alternate art. Had no idea. Like the other day, I saw that Zealous Persecution got new art, and like I saw it. And it had like the recent vampires on it from Ixalan.
It's in Ixalan, yeah. I didn't even know it was in. I've drafted Ixalan.
No, it's not in Ixalan.
Oh, is it not?
No, it's from the board game thing that they released.
Oh, so it has the Ixalan symbol on it, but it's not actually in the set.
Yeah.
Is it standard legal?
No.
Oh, that's dumb. They don't need to not do that.
But like I saw that and I was like, I had no idea.
Yeah, I was very confused.
I didn't know they did.
I was like, I've drafted this enough times. I think I would have seen it.
Right.
And went, oh look, Zealous Persecution.
You know how good that card would be in standard? Like the tokens X would probably be so much better.
I actually have no idea how good that would be in standard. No clue.
The card's just good.
Yeah.
Anytime there's a go wide strategy, Zealous Persecution is insane. Zealous Persecution sees play in Legacy, mostly sideboards, but still.
It's kind of fallen out of like flavor with Society though, right? We're trying to not persecute things.
Oh, Big Red Joe. Standard is this new format. It's something that Wizards came up with. So
sounds dumb.
Yeah.
They should stop that. You have to buy a board game just to play it.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Verdant Catacombs versus Scalding Tarn. Did you see how hot that Tarn was? He had to quickly get rid of it.
He really did.
It was like a hot potato. Scalding Tarn. I don't know that a Tarn is a thing, but I guess they're hot. It replaced Type 2. No, I still call it Type 2.
You don't know why they think they need a new format. Legacy is enough for anyone. Yeah, like Legacy wasn't pushing people away from the format. Like everybody's welcome in Legacy.
Right.
Why'd they feel like they needed to add another format?
Everybody has thousands of dollars to blow on several decks. And new people looking to get into the game, they're just like, what is this Legacy thing? I should play it.
No, there's no way it's that old, Bolo. Like I just barely heard of it like the other week. It's like a brand new format, right? Can't be that old.
Corey didn't get to do anything?
He didn't have a second land. He has a Lotus Petal. Maybe
he's saving the land in his hand so he can play it off of Show and Tell. Let's find out. Together, shall we? Yeah.
It's a brand new format and they're already banning stuff? Oh, sounds like a mess. Sounds like an absolute mess.
So if Corey kept a hand with very few lands, I hope he has an answer to this.
No, this is our backup match. Terry went 4-0, so I think both of these players are 2-1. We saw Terry beat Corey last round, I believe.
We get to see some fluster storming here, which is a pretty good answer to this Show and Tell. Maybe. After some shuffling. It's a fluster shuffle. Flusterstorm. I called it. I said it. And then I said it again. Double days the storm copies so he can make it happen.
Force does not work the way he wants it to.
He goes
so
to whoops.
Flusterstorm gets cast and that's a storm.
Yeah. Storm trigger happens.
2.
So there you'd have to be able to pay 2.
Yeah, 2 are being cast, so Force of Will counters 1 of them.
Whoops. That's why Flusterstorm was a pretty good answer there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure why Gabriel decided to force that. He had another show and tell, and now he doesn't.
Oh, whoops.
No, I don't know if there's a third one, but geez, that was not pretty.
You can see him realize when
Yeah.
afterwards going, oops.
Yeah, that was not what he wanted there.
Looks like he's on the sneak attack backup plan here. So he just needs another land. Corey's going to try and get out of where he is with a brainstorm. This is not the way you want to get out of it.
It looks like there is an underground sea there. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what else he's found, but
and a fetch land. Okay.
And a fetch.
So it worked. It got out of what he wanted to. It sped him up maybe a turn. If the top card wasn't a land, he was probably a little flustered.
He definitely was flustered by that.
He needed an umbrella so he could get out of the storm.
Yeah. Poor guy.
Now he's gonna bring
Storm.
Whoa. Whoa. What is happening? What is happening? Now Corey's gonna play something with a brain.
Brain in a jar.
Oh, mind blown.
Brain fluster. No, I don't think that's a card. I don't think that's a card. Tried to get that out of the way earlier when I was streaming.
That sleeve that
just chilling
hanging out on the floor, making everything's all weird.
Yep, everything weird.
Brainstorm resolves. Ooh.
Is that a Seiju? Look at
Seiju?
that. Seiju.
Ah. That's an interesting card. Coming in and out of the sideboard.
Yeah.
The brain puns. Yep. That's what we're doing. Well, they started as Fluster, and then Storm, and then Brain.
Look at this. I just wanted to hang out with Jesse, and he only shows up when Sneakin' shows on the screen.
You guys can hang out.
Unbelievable.
It'll be fun. All right, so Corey gets out of having one land. We know he drew 2 lands.
Yeah.
He drew the
Underground Sea.
Scalding Tarn, the really hot Tarn, and the Underground Sea. It's hard to find.
Yeah, and it's
hard to see.
There is a Force of Will in Corey's hand as well, so he should have a couple more ways to interact with Gabriel. In fact,
not with that Seiju.
Oh, I guess that's true. That's true.
Seiju protects from the
instants and sorceries, though. He would need something else for sneak attack.
Yeah.
And cantrips are no longer going to be helpful for Gabriel.
Leovold's pretty fantastic. It's a pretty good way. This is a turn 4 Leovold, right? Because he had to take a turn off where he didn't try any cards. My spidey sneak senses were tingling.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really weird superpower as well.
Almost as weird as mine.
Uh-huh. I don't remember what yours was.
When I look at things stop working.
Oh, yeah. They stop working when you look at them. Yeah, that's a strange superpower. Somebody's playing sneak attack somewhere.
I have null rod vision.
Yeah, and Jesse plays like sneak attack, but then he throws out spiders as his win condition.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
Don't know a lot of blue and red spiders. Most of them are black and green.
Mm-hmm. Here's a sneak attack. All Corey's going to say, I've got an answer.
Yeah, this needs to be dealt with. Here's a Force of Will. He will lose a life. That alternate casting.
No, he doesn't get to ponder.
Nope.
It's really sad. We don't get to think about where that moon is in the sky anymore.
Nope.
Huh. What's going to happen next?
I don't know.
I think he's going to
Stay
attack
tuned
for
to find
3.
out. Attack for 3. Another force of will in his hand. Now, because of Beseju, this isn't going to do anything against pretty much the entire deck except for sneak attack. You counter sneak attack, but nothing else.
Yeah, that other force of will definitely would have mattered. This game would be different, right?
Absolutely.
In fact, it probably would be over.
I think it would. Yeah. There'd be another show and tell in hand.
Yeah. Or the sneak attack would have resolved. Or
right.
Yeah. He's going to go down to 8, which is relevant because it's less than 9. Doesn't really change the clock at all. He did not pay life when he cast with sneak attack. No, he didn't. I don't think he did.
Did he use Beseju towards sneak attack? I don't think you can you? I think it only works for instants and sorceries. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think he did.
No. Down to 5, which is less than 8.
And here's a thought seize.
I can do that.
We got a brainstorm in response.
Greater than a less than thing.
No brainstorm. Just pick your poison.
I'm pretty sure he did. He didn't even react though when it got forced.
Well, I think this is a pretty easy take. What do you think?
Well, Beseju you have to pay, right?
Yeah. You have to pay 2 life.
If you're gonna use it for mana at all, you have to pay 2 life. So it's possible at the time, he was leaving red up, so he could sneak attack something out.
I think he tapped the mountain, the island, and 2 vaults. I thought he had the Beseju up. Maybe I'm wrong. But this is very clearly a brainstorm take. I don't know why you would take either of the other things.
Yeah. This feels well. Brainstorm, except it's shut down at the moment because of Leovold. So it's a matter of do you want to give your opponent another card or not?
Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah.
Do you want to shuffle?
Yeah, I guess Leovold is enough of a thing. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we haven't had too many Beseju interactions. Recently. It's been a little while since we've seen that card in play.
I don't remember. I don't think I've seen him tap the Beseju yet. I don't think he did tap it for the sneak attack.
These guys are saying he did. I trust the chat. They were watching.
Okay.
Their eyes were on it. We're going to see the Leovold beatdown plan, where he reaches out to shake your hand, and he's got one of those buzzer things that just electrocutes you just enough.
Just enough.
That you slowly lose 3 points of life every time it happens. And you keep doing it, because he looks so friendly. Pretty sure that's how he attacks. That's why he's got 3 power.
Oh, it is round 4.
He'd be like a 1/3 if it wasn't for that thing. Did he? What?
He just quickly drew, and Corey's like, "Yeah, you can't do that."
Brainstorm makes you put him back if you cast it.
Yeah.
Does he not have any cards in hand?
No, he doesn't. Maybe let him.
Okay.
And here's an attack. I'll do it.
Leovold got him with the buzzer hand thing. What are those things called? This is really critical, chat. We need to know what that's called because it just determined the end of that game. 1-2 for Corey. That was some exciting magic. We got to.
Are they still playing?
No, they're done. For sure.
Okay.
Not so much. Wasn't so exciting. We saw some Delver doing Delvering. We saw some sneak attack. Probably could have won that game.
Maybe.
But Flusterstorm flustered them and stormed and brained and things.
And Fluster. And
so we're going to be back here tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow early, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. So that's noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Whoa.
We're going to play some. I know.
Getting your time is down.
We're going to play maybe some Grizzlestorm, maybe some Teamer Punishing Reveler.
Punishing Reveler.
Yeah, it's a Punishing Fire Jace Reveler deck.
Yeah, this is up my alley.
That sounds fun. We probably have all the cards for it.
Cool.
And if you guys really want to, you can throw a sub at us or some bits at us or whatever and suggest a different deck for us to play. And we'll try and actually do well with it.
Yeah. We do all right.
Usually.
Occasionally
we don't.
Yeah.
Punishing Teamer.
You saw the list, huh? All right.
Is that what it's called? I put it in the Discord. If you guys want, if you haven't joined our Discord somehow, here's a link to it where we will be talking about Legacy
and brews, and if you have any questions for us casters, we'll be a part of it.
Yep.
We'll be hanging out, so please be
we get whispered decks a lot, and this is a good way to, instead of just whispering it to us and just us seeing it, this way other people can see it and we can discuss it a little bit more.
Yeah. Looks like we've already got 10 people.
Yeah.
A part of this Discord.
Well done.
It's fantastic.
So, thanks for joining us for some Tuesday Legacy.
Yeah.
That was very Tuesday-ish. And we'll be back here for some Wednesday, whatever, tomorrow.
VZ Tech, thank you for the follow.
Well done.
Absolutely.
VZ Tech just followed after round 4.
Yeah.
They waited to see how round 4 was going to end, and then they decided, okay, I'm going to follow. It's worth it.
I think so.
Well done.
You're welcome.
Well done.
Yeah, thanks for the follow.
So, VZ Tech, in case you didn't know, we're here every Tuesday night for just Legacy, just like this, 4 rounds of Legacy. Also, Friday night, 3 rounds, and then during the daytime, we play Magic Online, and it's always Legacy as well.
Yeah, I'm here 5 days a week.
That's a lot of weeks. I mean, a lot of days.
5 days a week.
Yep.
Yeah. And then Bryce will be here with me two days.
Intermittently.
2 days of those days.
Occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
When we win. Or when I set you up so that you win after I leave. Maybe that's what it is.
That has happened almost every time. Just getting into Legacy, that is awesome. That is awesome. Well, if you have any questions, you can definitely hang out with us during the day. Always willing to answer questions, give you opinions.
Yep, and this is a pretty good. We're here in Utah where there's actually a pretty decent Legacy stream of some pretty competent players.
Yeah,
and occasionally maybe they make a mistake or two, but that's part of Legacy as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely.
Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hail Heroes.